Tonight, Central Iowa Sports Network presents.
Cole's going to get the call up the middle. He sees a seam. 10-5, touchdown Maroons. He's got a seam. 5-2-1, touchdown Valley Tigers.
Central Iowa Football. Central Iowa Football is brought to you by the Atlantic Bottling Company, CenturyLink, Central Iowa Football, live on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Central Iowa Football is also brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields. Are you ready for some football?
Good evening and welcome to week 2 of high school football on CISN.TV. Dar Danielson with you along with Paul Yeager tonight as it's West Des Moines Valley visiting Waukee. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet, Shields, Mid-American Energy, Medibank, Waters Autoland, Better Business Bureau, and Westside Auto Pros. A matchup between two rated teams who won their first game. We'll come back and talk about what that meant. As we head into the second game, we'll hear from the coaches coming up right after this.
Repeat and referral and word of mouth. That's the main ways we receive our customers now, and after being here 10 years, that has just exploded for us. And that's a big area of our business because people like the way they were treated. The customer experience we can provide is second to none, and we're committed to it, and I'm here to make sure that gets done.
Schottenkirk Chevy on the west end of Hickman, Waukee, WaukeeChevy.com.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Welcome back to Waukee High School. Paul Yeager alongside Dar Danielson. Keith Bornes will be with us in just a moment. Earlier, we had a chance to talk to both head coaches. We start with the visiting head coach, Gary Swenson of the Valley Tigers.
All right, Coach, how did we talked earlier in the week? You thought offensive line, one of those things that you got to keep working on. How'd the last couple of days of practice go on that issue?
We saw some I think we're making small incremental steps of improvement. And if we can keep doing that, I'll be happy. We got a long way to go, though. And part of it's just physical. We're undersized. Another part of it's inexperience. Now, as we play, that'll go away. But fundamentally, where we struggled in the preseason, I thought we got a little better this week from footwork, targets, all that stuff that you try to teach them when they want to go to block for the run. I thought it was better this week, so I don't think it's going to be great for a while. I just think it's going to be a work in progress. You know, it's not like we can go out and sign a bunch of new guys. We got who we got. They're trying, though. They're great kids. They're smart. They're working hard. And we just got to, if we can keep them together and keep them healthy, we'll be all right.
Who's your leaders on this team that's trying to help you?
I think we have a nice core of leadership out of these seniors. You know, a couple kids on our defense. Brendan Rowe is a linebacker. Nate Yenser is playing a linebacker. I thought those two kids, from the minute we got done last year, really really showed a tremendous amount of leadership in the weight room, with all the football activities that you do year-round, whether it's agilities, conditioning, speed development, lifting. It's really a year-round calendar now. You try to fit all those activities within the framework of multi-sport athletes. But I thought those two kids really had a great 9 months, really, when it comes down to the time frame between the end and the start of the next season.
You mentioned Yenser. What was that like when you got to watch those on tape, those two defensive tackles picking up, two D linemen picking up and running in for the end zone?
Well, it was too easy. I mean, that stuff doesn't happen. I mean, it was crazy, and you never expected against a quality program like them. It just was one of those things, But it's nice for your kids when the ball bounces that way, and you can take it. We work on when to recover and when to advance, and those were definite advanced situations, and it's always fun for those kids to get in the end zone. They don't get to do that very often.
But you celebrate that for what? What do you tell them? 24 hours or 12 hours, and you have to move on to the next week?
Yeah, your Friday night performance has a short shelf life in high school football. The minute before we ever leave the locker room, we're working for the next week. I think the kid, they're kids. They can feel good or feel bad over the weekend, but as coaches, you gotta, because we go back to work Sunday afternoon with our players and our coaches. So when that starts, that performance from the previous Friday night's been put to bed. I mean, it really doesn't guarantee anything for that next week.
Perry looks good on tape. How do you try to contain a guy like that looks like he can just run downhill pretty easily?
Yeah, he's a good player. I was really impressed with him. I don't know. I mean, we don't do anything that would gear itself towards stopping one guy. I mean, if we're sound and we're running to the ball and rallying up on pursuit angles, we'll be okay. But he's a very nice player. I was impressed with him. I think him moving back here like he did was huge for their football team, because that's a component I'm not sure they would have had.
So what else do you have to stop with theirs tonight?
I just think we got to be sound, fundamental. I don't know that there's any one guy. I don't know that there's any one guy on our team people really have to focus all their efforts on. I think the good teams can hurt you in multiple ways, and Waukee's got some very nice players that if we're not playing well and we're not where we should be, we don't get lined up right or we don't read the right keys, anybody can make plays. This is a pretty good level of high school football in Iowa, and there's players on every team that can hurt you.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
You bet, Paul. Thank you.
That's Valley head coach Gary Swenson. 1-0 Valley Tigers after a win last week at home against Bettendorf, 49-13. Tonight, they're playing a team that also is coming off of a win, the Waukee Warriors. Last week, a 44-13. Last season, it was 44-13 against Valley. They lost, and last week against Urbandale, it was 24-9. What head coach Scott Carlson have to say about that game?
Coach, last week you opened up at Urbandale. How'd practice go this week after that good of a performance?
I'd say overall went pretty well. The old adage, the difference that between week 1 and week 2, there's a lot of progress that can be made there, and obviously I think anybody in the state's saying that right now. And I think after watching film, kids had an opportunity to see just exactly what we're talking about, where we're at, what we need to do to get better, and so it's a great week. Week 2 is always a great week for that.
You had some questions at quarterback in the offseason. It looks like you got them answered with the senior. How did that transition go with him?
I think it's gone really well so far. Drew's really picked up on the offense. Drew's not the same type of quarterback that we had in the last 3 years with Ben Firkin. He's a little bit more of a he can do a little bit of everything. He throws the ball pretty well, but he can also run the ball. And so just his athleticism really helps him tremendously. And he's a really good student of the game. He's worked hard to get where he needs to get in understanding our offense.
If you're going to be an understudy to Ben Firkin, I guess that's a pretty good guy to learn from.
It's not a bad place to be. Yeah, he played. Drew started for us in the secondary last year, and so he's a good enough athlete, obviously, that he's going to play somewhere. he's always kind of been that guy that is next in line, and this year it's his turn. So far, so good.
It's going to be no secret that Gary's going to try to focus on your tailback, and for good reason. Tell me what type of runner Perry is.
Jordan's really given us a nice lift so far this season, and certainly it's early in the season, but doing a great job of all the things we're asking him to do, and really being very conscientious about trying to become an even better running back. Taking good care of the football, being coachable in terms of just getting where he needs to get to be successful, and I think that's helped him a lot this year as a junior.
How's the offensive line gelling? That's always a question mark. Every coach wants it to go as good as it can.
And I think that's one of the things that takes the most time every year is if you don't have a bunch of returners on that in that unit, then they've got to get to know each other, know each other's strengths, and so that's still for us is a work in progress. But I think we're heading in the right direction. I think we're trending in the right place.
Defensively, how do you feel?
Well, pretty good right now. Again, it's a week old, so talk to me in a month, I guess. But I think we've got a nice group of kids over there, really buying into the philosophy. They're mentally tough. They're physically in a pretty good place. We're very young this year. I think we have 15 underclassmen, I believe, starting tonight. So that can catch up to you at times if you're not careful. But these guys have been good, quick studies, and like I said, I think we're trending in the right direction.
Question is always going to be, do you try to keep Lombardi in the pocket or you try to send him for his life? He can beat you either way. It's got to be tough.
Absolutely. And, I think in the past he was probably best in the pocket. But, based on what we've seen so far, I think he's really been very, very effective and very efficient on the rollout as well. And so, I think it's choose your poison, quite honestly. I think he can beat you either way if you don't have your guys covered up and if you don't have a little bit of a push up front and get some pressure on him.
What other things do you have to do tonight to win?
Well, I think defensively, that's the key for us is, we've got to find a way to get pressure on them without being too reckless in terms of your blitzes and so forth. They're going to hurt you with the big play, they'll take some shots for sure. So you got to find a way to just get them out of the rhythm a little bit, I think. And I think offensively we have to be we're going to have to take some shots too, of course, but they're so good up front. We're going to have to really be good at ball control, making it a real war in there. And I think, if you can do that, then hopefully in the end you're going to have an opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
That's Waukee coach Scott Carlson. Dar Danielson here with Paul Yeager. And Paul, both these teams won. They won in similar fashion where they won big in that week one. And I think that's left a lot of questions. Bettendorf was supposed to be a tougher team, but an easy win there for Valley. Waukee jumped out early, second play of the game. They picked off an Urbandale pass, went in to score, and then from there they kind of controlled the game for most of the rest of the game. So what you want in the first game, but still seemed like a lot of questions. Are we that good? Did we play as well as we should have? And these coaches, they watch, the games afterwards and kind of grade them out and know. So,
well, with Valley specifically, Dar, Bettendorf got better in the second half, and but the problem was it was a continuous clock. They were up 35 the whole time, so you didn't get a really good chance to have a lot of guys because Bettendorf got better. So all of a sudden your defense, they're not done. They had to keep playing. So you got a chance to look at some second and third string guys towards the end, but it was still a lot with the Valley Tigers. We'll find out a little bit more about them in a moment.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with more of the pregame show after this.
This is Iowa. And here, we don't just dream of a better tomorrow, of a smarter way to do business or live, of perseverance and progress. We inspire it in others. We challenge the conventional, reimagine what it means to be better, and then dare ourselves to make it great. This is Iowa, and here, we don't just dream, we make history.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Waukee Marching Band with the national anthem there, just finishing up. Dar Danielson with Paul Yeager on our pregame show brought to you by Mid-American Energy. And just talking a little bit about that, Paul, we're talking about these two teams in that first game, and I think Waukee had a few tests late too where Urbandale came down. They had a 3rd and 2. They went for it and didn't go. Then they went on 4th and 2, and the defense held inside. I think it was right down around the inside the 20. So they had a few tests there, but it wasn't a game-long test. They got a lot of other players in there too off the bench. So tonight we'll see which of those teams. We always talk about advancing and looked at those mistakes on the video and who got better, who corrected the most, and who's going to step it up here tonight.
Some coaches will tell you that the week 1 to week 2 business is malarkey.
Yeah.
Some will tell you that it's just something for you darn announcers to talk about. But Gary Swenson says it's the first 3. And he's got a gauntlet in these first 3 contests. They open with Bettendorf, who very well could be back in the Unidome as a semifinalist in 4A. And then tonight against always a tough Waukee. And then next week, Dowling Catholic. So you have an early test and an early tough sled road ahead. And Waukee opens with Urbandale, tonight with Valley, and then next week plays Ankeny. So a little more of a favorable schedule for them. But still, you hit somebody that wasn't wearing the same color jersey last week. You get back into the swing of school, a full week of class. So now you're really starting to feel like it's football season, and so these guys are settling in.
And it doesn't matter how bad you played or how good you played. If you get a win, you feel better about it no matter what, how well you did overall. Tonight's weather report brought to you by Medibank. A little partly cloudy and 77, and I think the temperature is supposed to drop through the evening here. It was a little chilly last night, and it's going to drop down cooler tonight in the stands. The parents on both sides will have to have a little extra wear on tonight. Let's talk then about the keys to the game tonight, brought to you by Schottenkirk Chevrolet. You saw Valley. What do they have to do tonight in this ball game to be successful?
They have to be able to play their type of game. And what I mean by that is you let Rocky Lombardi be Rocky Lombardi. Whether he's going to roll out or he is going to stand back in the pocket and throw the football, he is a guy that has to run this team. They have some good weapons in Hinkle and Heald as wide receivers. Tarek Brown had a couple of big catches last week. But Javon Mason was really silent in that contest for Javon Mason. He had 8 carries for 20 yards. I think you're going to have to run the football a little harder tonight or a little better, and it's that offensive line that's really been a question mark for Valley. So they're going to have to get good play up front on that offensive line so their offense can dictate how this game is going.
Waukee, Drew Johnson, I know the coach talked about this last year. He played in the secondary back there at a corner spot. This year he's under center. He had one pass that he didn't throw real well, underthrew it against Urbandale, got picked off. But, those are learning things. I think he has to come out there, not have to win the game, but control the game, let everybody know where they need to go and, keep the game under control here tonight for Waukee.
Well, we do have a third member of the broadcast team. Keith Bornes is with us tonight, and let's just do a little test and see if Keith is with us. And Keith, you're down there on the edge of the end zone. Both teams about ready to come back out. What's it like down there on the field?
Well, Paul, I think we learned last week that neither of us are weather reporter people, but it's a beautiful night. I was down here for the flip, and Waukee won the flip. They are going to defer to Valley. Valley will take the ball, and Waukee is going to kick toward the clock, so they will kick off to the north tonight.
All right, Keith, what's your assessment of keys for the game when it comes to Valley and Waukee tonight? How do you see it?
Well, I think both of you hit on the keys that are going to be very important for Valley. Rocky Lombardi, he's going to have to control the offense as he is moving, or if Waukee is going to try and keep him in the pocket. But I think Waukee's a team that's going to be able to get up into the middle and push some people back. I think Rocky's going to be on the move. And when that happens, he'll buy a little time and see if he can get some of those receivers open. On the defensive side of the ball, it is going to be trying to contain that. If you're Waukee, you're thinking that he is going to be able to run the ball, he's going to be able to throw the ball. So you're going to try and keep everything in front of you tonight.
All right, Keith Bornes on the sideline all night. Thanks, Keith.
All right, we're getting ready to kick this off here in just a few minutes. We'll be ready for the start of Week 2, Valley and Waukee here at Waukee High School. Let's take another break. We'll come back with the start of the ball game after this.
Repeat and referral and word of mouth. That's the main ways we receive our customers now, and after being here 10 years, that has just exploded for us. And that's a big area of our business because people like the way they were treated. The customer experience we can provide is second to none, and we're committed to it. And I'm here to make sure that gets done.
Schottenkirk Chevy on the west end of Hickman, Waukee, WaukeeChevy.com.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we've got it all.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
At Waukee High School, getting ready to kick it off. The Waukee Warriors set to come down the tunnel here. They're in the purple, and here they come. Facing West Des Moines Valley. These two teams last year met in the regular season to open the season. Valley won that one. Then they met in the second round of the playoffs, and Valley won again. 3 years ago, Paul, it was Rocky Lombardi's coming out party over here at Waukee. They lost that game. He did not play particularly well in that first start over here. Waukee won that one. And then last year, Valley won both of the matchups here. And last year's last year, but it's been a little bit of a thing for Waukee to get over that edge and beat Valley and, show that, hey, we do belong, as a school that's gotten bigger and moved up, and still, we got to play with Valley to show that we're a team that, can compete.
Well, Waukee sees Valley as a rival. I'm not sure if Valley sees Waukee as a rival yet, but if Waukee continues to beat them in sports like they have been, you darn right it becomes a rivalry. And in most every other sport, it has been Waukee beating Valley as of late. Girls basketball, boys basketball a couple of years ago, always good in most every other sport. It's football, though, that really gets the bragging rights going. And this is one of those, you look at that Valley crowd on the far side, it's a nice crowd for those stands. But if you look on this near side, Dar, you don't have a place to stand. It is full on this near side.
Hardly a room at all here on this side. The purple side of Waukee is the captains are out, and Keith kind of snuck in down there on the pregame flip, so we know that I'm going to predict that Waukee wins and defers here based on what he said. We'll see if he was really paying attention.
And I want to see, I'm going to bet that Waukee is going to kick it to the scoreboard. What do you think?
Yep.
We right?
I think so.
All right, hey, if you want to talk to us on Twitter tonight, at CISN TV, also hit us up on our Facebook page, Central Iowa Sports Network. We have a cavalcade of games tonight. You can watch Dowling hosting Urbandale, also Southeast Polk and Johnston. That's also on the network, and then this ball game between Waukee and Valley. You ready, Dar?
I am ready to go. We got it started last week. Good game, Ankeny Centennial and Johnston. That went right down to the wire for us. That was the closest game in the Metro I think, last week, and a pretty good one. Ankeny Centennial, I think they're going to make some noise. They have the Pinniger brothers there who pretty much did everything on the field last week. Johnston started a new quarterback, his first start under center. I don't think he completed the pass, but he ran for 2 touchdowns. So both those teams will be something that we'll see here later on, too, as we move through the season. Waukee will be seeing them, and Valley. So just about ready to go to get the season, or the second game of the season, kicked off.
A little more of those nerves have subsided, and now you just get into that game stuff, and you know a lot more about this team. Let's see what we have here tonight.
And here we go. Waukee in the purple. Set to kick it off to Valley in the white on the left side with the black pants.
Tariq Brown and Javon Mason back deep for you, Dar.
Already.
Mason, the brother of another good player, and let's see, Tariq Brown also has some speed. Who they kick it to?
Coming over toward the right side, that's Mason. He's ahead of the goal line. Nope, I thought he was ahead of goal line, but he's not, so it's going to come out to the 20. As high school, you can't pull it out of there after it hits the 20. So 1st and 10 for Valley at their own 20. The offense, Rocky Lombardi, Javon Mason, Brendan Held at the wide receiver, Trey Fugate, the wide receiver, Austin Hinkle there. Line, Lex Nelson, Ben Carlisle, Tate Nelson, Sam Rogers, Ben Cooley. On the offensive line, fullback tight end Jacob Morris for Valley. They're going to start out with Held, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and Mason behind Lombardi. Drops straight back, throws it out to the left side, gets a little dance around the tackle, picked up a couple yards there, Austin Hinkle. And it'll bring up 2nd and 9.
Hinkle and Heald, H&H as you like to call them, Dar. They really offer a lot of weapons. And then now you bring in Tariq Brown, and he's not even considered the 3rd best receiver on the team. You've got Matley, who didn't play last week, and now he gets a chance.
So they're going to bring Held out to the right side along with Fugate. Twins to each side. In motion across. Fakes the handoff. Lombardi keeps it, looks for room, and gets stacked up in the middle right about the line of scrimmage. And he might have lost a yard on that one as he faked it to Fugate coming in there and Heald. He'll get knocked down for a loss of 1.
And that was something that, I would imagine Waukee is going to try to keep Lombardi in the pocket because he is just another force to reckon with when he gets out into the open territory to run. Ball's on the Valley 27-yard line, Dar, and they got to get a play off in a hurry.
Drops back, looks under pressure. Lombardi rolling, now throws it up high, trying to get it out of bounds, and it does go out over there, but he was going backwards, tried to get something on that, and ended up throwing it out of bounds. It almost didn't make it over there, as it was hard moving backwards, trying to get a mustard on that pass. He got it enough back, though, to get it back there. Sam DeVries will drop back to receive the punt from Lombardi, who will punt it. He had 1 punt for 35 yards last week. And DeVries drops back to about the 33 as Valley goes 3 and out here. Here's the snap. High kick straight up in the air, and he's going to let it drop. It's going to do so about the 36 and bounce back and be stopped at the 32.
Nate Yenser downed it, and I'm not sure if he wanted to do that, Keith Bornes. What do you think? Should he let that keep rolling?
Well, we always talk about the 3 rules of the kicking game. Number 1, do not be offsides. Number 2, do not rough the kicker or the holder. And number 3, never let the ball hit the ground. That may have had another 10 yards to roll.
1st and 10 at the 32-yard line for Waukee. 2 receivers to each side. The single back in there behind Johnson is Jordan Perry. Hands it off to Perry. Perry looking for room up the middle. Gets hit immediately at the line of scrimmage and then is driven back. And
wow, they're giving him a full yard
they
on
didn't.
that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure about that, but that's Perry is going to be big. Last week, he has that great game. He was 30 carries for 208 yards and a score.
This time 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Back out is DeVries coming out of the backfield, takes a swing pass, looking for room, and he's going to be trapped behind the line of scrimmage and lose a yard.
Number 5, Sam DeVries.
So DeVries was there. That screenplay becomes one of those options that you have to just kind of freeze the defense, get something out in the flats, get your speedier guys moving forward. It's easier to keep momentum than start it.
So he'll split Grotehouse wide to the left with DeVries. Sends Tessau two to the right. Tessau, and I can't see who the other one is over there, dropping back, looking for a screen across the middle. Grotehouse tipped, but Grotehouse gets it, and he's not going to get very far. He's going to lose yardage. As good reaction in there by the defense to tip that. Was that Sam Rogers, I think, may have gotten a hand on that to tip that up. And
is that right, Keith? Rogers, did that look who got it?
It was Rogers in there, and I tell you, there aren't very many teams that run a screenplay like Waukee. They are very effective on their screen pass.
So now it'll be Waukee set to punt it. Zach Morrison punted, had a 36-yard average last week. And Valley has 2 back to receive. Punt is low. He picks it off the turf. Taken back there by Fugate. Going to the left side. He's got room. And taken down up about the 47-yard line.
And I apologize.
No,
That was
Tariq Brown. Yeah, that was Tariq Brown.
1 and 9, so 9 is Trey Fugate.
8, and Brown is 1.
Is
yep.
Brown.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Nope, that's my fault.
So now both teams go 3 and out, Dar. Kind of like kissing your sister on both of those plays.
Yeah, it's one of those deals, kind of feeling out what happened. The offense is over there talking it over now. And so with 8:18 to play here.
And not much time goes off the clock either.
No, just a couple minutes there on that drive by Waukee. 2 backs behind Lombardi. Gives it to the deep back. Mason cuts up into the middle, spins around, now spins backward and is shoved backwards. They'll give him forward progress, so he'll get maybe a yard.
I think that should be about another yard deep. It looked like Mason almost got to midfield before he was hit once, and then he kind of had to spin around.
I think they're saying he spun on his own accord back, maybe, but so he moves it up to the 48, second down and 9 here for Valley.
Tough sledding last week for Mason. 8 carries, 20 yards. They need him to get more yards per carry.
So Twins to each side now. Single back there with Lombardi in the shotgun. Drops back. Looks out left. Has a man out in the flat. He's going to turn it up and be knocked down out of bounds over there. Austin Hinkle on the catch. And he gets the first down to the 41-yard line.
Good look there. Hinkle's one of those guys. Just a simple out pattern there. That'll move things a little bit further. Maybe this will allow you to run the ball better. Normally you think you run first to pass. Valley's going the other way on it, Dar. They're going to try to pass to run the football.
So a good pickup there. About 12, 7:29 to play. The clock stopped. 1st and 10 at the 41. For Valley. Twins to the right. They got a slot on the right. Throws it out quickly to Heel. The Heel looks for some room, gets by a blocker there and still spinning around and spins ahead. And he'll pick up maybe 4. So the quick pass out to the right to Heel.
Lombardi's getting the ball away quickly. He does not have a lot of time, but it also, they're running routes that are quickly developing routes.
38-yard line.
So they'll send Twins to each side once again with Mason back there with Lombardi. 2nd down and 7 on the 39. And up the middle, finds some room, squirts through, 25-20, still going, and slides all the way down to about the 12-yard line. Didn't look like there was a lot there, but Javon Mason kept the feet pumping and found the lane and kept moving ahead.
Mason just outdid last week's total in one carry, 26-yard gain, and he really did a lot of that on his own. Keith, I mean, there wasn't much line protection there for him.
There really wasn't, but one of the things that Mason has always done, he's been able to set up blocks, and so the initial contact wasn't there, but as Mason made some moves in the backfield, holes are starting to open up.
Heald and Tariq Brown on the right. Throws it out to the left and hit immediately. Grodehouse puts the hammer down on Hinkle as soon as he caught it.
Immediately by number 16, Tyler Grodehouse.
He'll get a few yards there. Not a bad pickup, but he didn't have any chance to make any yards after the catch on that one. He'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6.
He respected Hinkle's speed, but closed once he saw the route was there.
So Valley, 2nd and 6, the ball on the 8-yard line here on their second drive after going 3 and out on the first one. 2 wide to the right, a couple on the short side of the field to the left receivers. Lombardi throws it out there quickly and a little too much on that for Heald. And it goes incomplete.
There were 2 Valley receivers out there, both Heald and Brown. Sometimes you run that pick play. You've got one running a route to kind of create some space, kind of block him without it, and it's a big deal here. We got to take a timeout already if you're Valley, and that's what they're doing.
So Valley's going to take a timeout and talk it over. Let's take a break here. No score, 5:34 to go here in the first quarter, but Valley challenging. We'll be back after this.
This is Iowa, and here we don't just... This is Iowa, and here we don't just dream. We make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Back at Waukee High School, 3rd and 6 at the 8-yard line. 5:34 to go here in the first quarter. No score. Valley looking to move it in. Tariq Brown wide right. 2 receivers set inside, tight. Lombardi in the shotgun.
Very tight formation.
Fakes the handoff, reverse back the other way.
Fugate.
And there's a flag down, and the defense is right there, and I think there's going to be a push in the back, hold or something out there.
I think everybody wearing purple was all of a sudden wearing black and white. And I mean that by stripes, not by Valley. Keith, what was it right in front of you there? What happened?
We had a hold out here on Mason. The play, it developed very fast and well, but Waukee did such a fantastic job of standing their ground. One of the things that they've done differently now that Valley's in the red zone is they've moved their D-backs up. You know, you start at the 8-yard line. Originally, they were playing 7-8 yards off the ball. They do that down here. That's a touchdown. So they can play a little tighter on the wide receivers, and with that, they were right there to stop that play. Their hold came in.
So 4th and 8 at the 8-yard line, and Hahn will attempt
25
the field goal. Cole Hahn, here's the set. The kick is good. With 5:07 to play here, it's a 25-yard field goal by Valley. They go up 3-0.
You want to get back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros.
Right after this.
I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
We are back here. Valley gets the 25-yard field goal in the first quarter with 5:07 to play. They take the lead. And 3-0 Valley.
8 plays, 53 yards, ends in a 25-yard field goal for Cole Hahn. And Dar, really the play of that series, there were 2 of them in double digits. One of them was a Lombardi pass to Hinkle for 12, but it was Javon Mason's 26-yard carry that really made the difference.
Zach Eaton, Sam DeVries, and Tyler Grodhouse back deep to receive for Waukee. And here comes the boot. It's high, and I don't think it's going to be returnable. Nope. Almost out the back of the end zone. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 20 for Waukee as they start their second possession. They went 3 and out on their first. Well, I guess they didn't go 3 and out. They did get a first. No, they did. Did they get a first? Yeah, they did.
No,
didn't
they they had a run for 1, and then they went backwards on passing, 1
yard
yard
that's
each.
Right. This time trips to the right for Drew Johnson. Jordan Perry behind him. DeVries, Tessau, and Grodhouse, the 3 receivers wide to the right. Johnston under center, drops back, throws it out quickly, and it's caught there and fumbled, and let's see who has it. Valley pointing that way. Let's see what the officials say.
I don't know if he really ever had it.
Yep. They say it is a turnover.
I'm going to guess it was Brendan Rowe. He was the last one off the pile. Keith, do I have 30? Is that right?
Yeah, 30 was right there. Brendan Rowe kind of coming into his own right here. And, you know, it's one of those things you made the statement of did he really have it or not. It looked from my vantage point that he did have it and made a step or 2.
So a fumble gives it to Valley, 1st and 10 of the 30. And that took a whole 6 seconds, and they turned it over. He would have been close to the first down if he held on to it, but now goes back to Valley. High backfield. Hand off to the deep back, looking for room, tries to cut it outside, does spin outside, still trying to get to the boundary. It is knocked out over there, Javon Mason.
Well, Valley's beginning to think that this is the way it goes, because last week they spent the whole first half on Bettendorf's side of the field, and now here after that first drive, they've been on the Waukee side of the field for almost every play. So Mason got a little yardage. He got 6 on that play, Dar, so he's up over 30 for the game. 32.
Heald and Brown wide to the right here for Lombardi. 2 to the left. Lombardi hands off inside, and knocked out of bounds is Fugate. Fugate lined up in the backfield that time and pick up a yard. Bring up 3rd and 4 at the 24. 4:48 to go. The clock stopped here in the first quarter. Valley up 3-0. Mason comes back in, and they'll shuttle in some other personnel here for Valley. Bo Lombardi in there now. They send Heald wide to the right. Hinkle wide to the left. Fake the handoff, looking. Under pressure now, he's going to be ripped down. Jake Morrison drops Lombardi for a loss of about 6. And that'll bring up 4th and 16.
It's a loss of 12 all the way back to the 36, Dar.
You're right, I didn't take
I'll tell you what, that's a huge play because you were looking at probably another opportunity for a field goal, and now Lombardi's going to have to stay on the field and punt this football away.
You're right, I didn't take that first down yardage.
Well, now wait a minute. Lombardi's going off. They are going to
They're going to try
field goal here. 51.
And now they're going to take a timeout and talk it over. So let's we'll stay right here, but the Waukee defense has been pretty salty in the early going, backed up there, and have put the pressure on Lombardi. He looked like he was looking for that quick pass up the sideline on the go right over there, but he didn't really have any time to get it off.
Keith, I don't know. Was that – looked like a long developing play for Valley, almost too long.
Well, one of the problems that had happened on that is we're going to give credit to Waukee's defensive backs. They're all over the place. But the Valley receivers, they were open early and didn't look back. And if you're not going to look back, your quarterback's not going to throw it at you. So they have to make some type of a signal or something to let the quarterback know, hey, I'm ready to catch the ball.
Well, Waukee brought a lot of pressure, and it came from that backside. So now Cole Hahn's got the leg dar. This is 51 and a half. In fact, I'm going to say it's 52. It's at the 42, and he's kicking into virtually no breeze.
Well, Cole Hahn trying to get his second field goal here. Here's the snap, the set, the kick is high. It's angling toward the left. It is good. Cole Hahn. Are they giving him 51 or 52 on that?
I'm giving him 52. That was on the 42-yard line. From my vantage point, we're at about the 50. That's only 8 yards off.
So with 3:54 to go, it's a 52-yard field goal to go with a 25-yarder. And that makes it 6-0 Valley here. And let's keep it right here. Early going, the Waukee defense has to be happy with that. They've held them to field goals anyway.
Well, I was just about to write down, it's a 3-play drive that went backwards 6 yards, but resulted in 3 points. But you'll take points any way you can. I thought for a moment there was a little bit of miscommunication, Keith, down there, because I think Lombardi was on the field. He was thinking he was going to punt the football.
Well, it may have been one of those situations where Lombardi didn't realize what down it was either. You get your head in the game and you just want to keep on playing.
Here's the kick, and this is going to go deep again. And dialing up 3-0 over Urbandale in the early going. Or is it still 0-0? Still 0-0.
Wow. That one's a lot closer than I thought it would be.
It's hard to read the numbers on that phone. So you can watch us on your device. But Waukee comes out. They have not been able to muster any offense. 3 and out the first drive. They got a pass. It would have been a first down, but fumbled it on the second drive. And here comes Drew Johnson on the third drive.
Mr. Hometown Clothing Store,
He's
the
got
one
Jordan
that had
Perry
it all,
back there behind
everything
him.
to get the work done, all in one place. G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us.
Throw it out, and a cut up DeVries. Has some room up across the 30, cuts back in, and he's going to be close to the first down.
1801
Good piece of running after the catch there by DeVries, Sam DeVries, and he'll get a first down. So he'll get the first down here for Waukee.
Give the credit to the wide receiver for Waukee on that, for making that block that freed up a nice seam for the receiver. That made a big difference for DeVries. Otherwise, that still would have been a pickup of about 5.
So Zach Eaton wide to the right. He'll have DeVries and Grothaus to his left. And the back there is Perry. And there's a miscommunication, and that had been live. It almost would have went over Johnson's head, but it'll be procedure against Waukee, and that'll send it back. 5. So penalties are the thing that you hate. The coach, you get that first down on the first play, and then boom, 5 yards back, and now you're 1st and 15 at the 25. And now we'll send 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 here to the left. Johnson will look to the sideline. 3:14 and counting here in the first quarter. Valley up 6-0 on 2 field goals. Here's the snap. Fake. Now he'll keep it. Johnson looking for room, but he's hit immediately in there. Bedell Naba hits him.
But Nate Yensers, who blew up that play first, he was the first guy there. That looked like that was the read option the whole way, and that was not the option that Coach Carlson's going to say that he probably should have taken.
So now brings up 2nd and 19.
Second and 19.
At the 21 for Waukee. Is this gone backwards here? 2 receivers to each side. In motion fake, now inside the Groothouse on the inside. He's still going, and he'll be stopped about the original line of scrimmage, just short of that. And there's a flag, as a little extra stuff there after the whistle. And we'll see if this goes against Valley. Could be a first down.
That was a good design play right there, Dar. That was a good slant coming back towards the middle. Keith, what do you call that play? It's not a bubble screen, but it's kind of that.
Yeah, it's a slip screen where you're trying to bring that receiver inside, and they really did set it up well.
Personal foul against Valley. So that'll be 15 yards, and that'll be a first down by penalty for Waukee. And Waukee keeps the drive going here. And Groothouse, he's one of those big receivers. He played a lot last year. He knows what to do when he gets the ball. So double slots now. Gives it to Groothouse. He's going. He's looking to pass. Has a man wide open down the field. Got him. And he breaks free. Still going. Looking to get down the sideline and is taken out of bounds. About the 12-yard line. Zach Eaton on the catch. Off the pass from Groothouse. So Groothouse took the handoff and threw it down the field to Zach Eaton.
I love it. What a play.
And
a little trickery. Little trickery, Dar. That'll work.
Trickeration, as they call it.
All the way, absolute best spot on the field Waukee has been tonight. The previous play was the best field position they'd had.
So 1st and 10 at the 15. They're looking over here. They've got DeVries and Groothouse to the left. Zach Eaton to the right. He's the guy who caught the pass off the play there. I was wondering if Groothouse was going to get it there, but he got enough under it. And it's Jordan Perry in the backfield. Fake to Perry, and up the middle goes Johnson, and he's met right there at the line of scrimmage. And
nothing.
Valley lineman didn't take the fake at all. They were right in there. Ben Campos, Michael Chris, Badale Naba, and Sam Rogers in the middle of that defensive line for the Tigers. 2nd down and 10 at the 15.
It's amazing what a 46-yard play will do for your confidence.
They'll bring in 2 receivers to each side. Dowling now up 7-0. Here's a snap inside to DeVries, and he can't bring it in. As Groothouse went outside, DeVries cut inside toward the post, but low pass, and he couldn't get it. That brings up 3rd down and 10 at the 15. Well, we know Skylar Crew, he hit a 39-yard field goal in the last game he hit last year. He's a pretty good kicker. This is within his range, but Waukee doesn't want to settle for that at this point. They want to go for 6 here. Trips to the left. Quick lob out, fade over the right side, and a little too far there as they were looking for the tight end. And Dylan Jones, but just a little too far on the throw. And that will bring up 4th and 10 at the 15. And
Austin Cook was on the defense there, Dar. He kind of, that's a touch and go. I got to get past you. He couldn't get past Cook, and that's what changed there.
So Skylar Crew will set it up at the 22-yard line. And again, very little breeze out on the field. 1:17 to play in the first quarter. There's a snap to kick. Gets through the line. It's a wobbler, but it's no good. No good. And so they missed the 22-yard field goal. So big opportunity lost there for Waukee to get on the scoreboard. And Valley will take over 1st and 10 at the 20.
If you're Valley, you're going, I just dodged a bullet. If you're Waukee, you're thinking, we got all the way to the 10 or the 15 and couldn't go any further. Keith, I don't know.
Did you see Keith? It looked like he kicked it a little low out of there, didn't he?
Yeah, it started. The snap started low. The holder did a nice job getting it up on the tee, but it does mess up your timing a little bit, and he opened his shoulder and did pull it to the left.
It's hard. You're straight on. It's hard for us up here on the angle to tell a little bit. So here comes Valley again. Take the inside or hand off. Oh no, gives it to Mason, and he's grabbed by the shirt tail and finally spun out of bounds
Number 5 for Valley.
by Waukee.
Swung around and tackled by
Jake
number 93,
Morrison.
Nathan Nelson.
And he'll pick up a couple there as we go under a minute to play in the first quarter. Valley up 6-0. Waukee with their best chance. They got it down to the 15 and were stalled out. Tried the field goal and missed it to the left.
2nd and 7 for Valley.
A lot of passing formations
Yeah, they spread it out a little bit here tonight.
for Valley.
2 receivers each side. Lombardi under pressure right away, and he goes down.
Nice.
Quarterback sack for Waukee, number 66.
66, Jacob Wiggins. The 6'3", 240-pound senior was all over Rocky Lombardi and really didn't have any time to throw when there was a flag down about the line of scrimmage.
If you get any pressure up the middle, even off the edge, Waukee's had some success. Coach Swenson said earlier in the week that he was concerned about the tall, slender.
Let's see if Waukee declines this. Holding called, and they will decline it because of the loss.
Penalty is declined.
And because the ball's back to the 10. So bring up 3rd and 20. Back at the 10-yard line. So
I think if you're Waukee, you got to keep that pressure coming because your ends, your tackles, if you're Valley offensive line, they're having a hard time containing those D ends and D tackles.
yeah, bring the pressure in and might catch him back there around his own goal line. We'll see. Twins to each side for Lombardi. Drops back, lobs it out to Mason. He's got a little room on the right side there, cuts it up to the 20. Well, he's not going to get enough for the first down, picks up 11. That'll bring up a 4th and 9. And that'll be the last play of the first quarter. 1 quarter's in the books. Valley up 6-0 on 2 field goals. Take a break to the balance of the second quarter.
The other guys, they think they know what special means. At Godfather's Pizza, we do special, and we do it better. We add the T. There's a Godfather specialty pizza with your name on it. Classic combo, all meat combo, hot stuff, taco, yeah, even veggie and more. All of them piled high with the best toppings and 100% real cheese. Treat yourself special. Order specialty pizzas from Godfather's Pizza.
Back at Waukee. Start the second quarter. Valley will have to punt. After a missed Waukee field goal, they got it 1st and 10 at the 20, but only advanced it to the 19 after a penalty and a sack. And here's Lombardi to punt it. Oh, this one goes straight up off his foot. It's angling. It's going to bounce at the 35, and it'll get a little bit of a bounce on that, but that punt went high and off a little bit. And Keith?
I don't know, Keith. That didn't. That was not the same punt that Lombardi had the first time.
It certainly was not. And one of the things, a lot of times punters will get that ball out far enough where it's supposed to be with their flat foot, point that toe, it'll fly. This one, he kind of had his toe up and short-armed it just a little.
So here comes Waukee. Drew Johnson, 2 receivers left and 1 right here as they trail 6-0, but in Valley territory here to start their drive. Rolling right, looking up the field, lobs it out there for Grotehouse, and Grotehouse can't quite get to it. Good coverage out there by Noah Barr. on Grotehouse. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 10. So he had the man open. Would have taken a real good throw. And I think that's the thing with Drew Johnson, too, Paul. You know, his first year starting as a varsity quarterback, he played cornerback on the other side of the ball last year. And getting that timing down, you know, is something that'll take some work.
He earned the job. I don't know if that's the guy that they thought would be the quarterback, but he is this year.
Handoff up the middle to Jordan Perry. And one of the few times we've seen him hand it off and run it straight up the gut there, but they do, and he picks up a yard, brings up 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 at the 46-yard line.
Perry's going to be that focal point of the defense. Coach Swenson said, he goes, you know, we don't really focus on one guy, but you and I both know that, of course, they were focusing on Perry.
Well, he had 308 yards and a 75-yard touchdown last week in the opener. Rolling to his right, looking, out of the cut, and can't quite get there. Defender knocks it down. John Mahoney, I think, was in there with a hand on it.
He was the one open. There was nobody open. That was a coverage play right there. All Valley defense. Because when Johnson rolled out to this near side, there were no purple jerseys.
So Valley should get the ball back here on the punt, because that is out of the range of Skylar Crew for sure.
You say that.
And Zach Eaton back to punt. And whistle blows, flag comes in before the snap, and procedure on Waukee, which at this point just gives you maybe a little more room if you're going to try to place that punt. And just makes it a 4th and 9 now.
I think Bornes has been spotted on the far side.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, Keith? You think somebody figured out what you were doing?
Yeah. Brad Rose just stopped by and said, what
Fumble
are
snap,
you doing?
and he gets it away. He's run into, though. And that's all right since he fumbled it, and Valley's going to take over in great field position at the 35.
Wow. That play was, I don't know if that was a design rollout punt or it was just a bad snap.
Well, the snap dribbled back there, and he had to pick it up, and before he could even roll out or do anything with it, they hit him, and Tyler Grotehouse had to go down and recover that, but of course it didn't matter. Now Valley takes over in great position in Waukee territory, so it flips here. Waukee started out in Valley field position, unable to do anything with it, and mistakes here in this ball game. These are kind of things you expect to see in the first game, Paul, but seeing them here, and here comes Valley. Hinkle and Fugate. Here comes Fugate in motion. Lombardi rolls out of pressure, drops back, looking for Fugate, lobs it out to him, and he can't handle it.
Fugate gets that. He's got another 15
He's got room,
yards.
yeah.
But now Waukee in that defense, they were right there in the middle, and they stayed home and didn't completely flush because Lombardi stepped up.
He stepped up and then came back.
And then came back right into the pressure.
But I think the little shot put motion maybe threw Fugate off a little bit too, because he kind of pushed that ahead to try to get it to him, and he didn't handle it. 2nd and 10. Twins to each side again for Rocky Lombardi. Mason, the single back, fake to him, throw it outside, and trying to get outside is Hinkle. He'll get a few yards before he's knocked out of bounds. And he'll bring up 3rd and long again here for Valley.
They're going to give him 3.
So
if you're Valley, you're already sitting at a 50-yard field goal right now if you don't get another yard. You've already hit a 52. But I think you want to get a first down and not be up 9-0 if you're Valley.
Brown and Healed out wide to the right. Hand off to Mason. He finds some running room, cuts it up the middle. Stiff arms a man, still going. He's got the first down to about the 23. So some good running vision by Javon Mason running inside there and avoiding the tackles.
That play, though, was made by Rocky Lombardi. I took the fake with Lombardi and didn't see. You saw it go to Mason. I thought Lombardi had it, and I was like, well, that's a good play call.
That's because he's faked me going to Mason when he's kept it before. And another time I was right. 1st and 10 at the 22 for Valley.
Well, I guess Valley doesn't have to settle for a 50-yard field goal attempt.
And off to Mason again, up the middle, spinning around. He'll get maybe one. Down to the 21. Coming up on 10 minutes to play in the first half. Tigers leading 6-0 on 2 field goals.
You'd like more than 1 yard on a play. If you can get 2 or 3, that's really what you want. I think a lot of people get overexcited about wanting higher yard totals on every play, 7, 12, 18. You just need 3 each time.
Lombardi throws it out quickly wide. It's caught out there, but nowhere to run with it after he catches it. Healed. And that'll make about a 2nd and 5. Or, excuse me, 3rd and 4, they'll call it.
They're going to give him a 5-yard gain on that play.
Wow. On the 17. 3rd down for Valley.
It's a generous 4. It's a heavy 4.
Lombardi drops back. Looking, now he'll run, now throws, and hits his man out there.
What a shot.
Oh, he dropped
Incomplete.
it. Incomplete. Looked like he had it, but he dropped it late. And
Owen Minshall. Minshall really delivered a pop on that one.
he's the guy that picked off the pass against Urbandale last week on their second play. So that brings up a 4th down. And another field goal attempt here for Cole Hahn. We'll set it at the 24, making it a 34-yard attempt for Hinkle with 9:02 to play. Here's the snap down. The kick is heading toward the left, and it's no good. So Hinkle misses his first one of the night, and we're still at 6-0. Dowling up 22-7 over Urbandale. And Waukee will take over 1st and 10 on the 20. So it's not exactly been an offensive showcase here so far.
Cole Hahn, 2 of 3 now on field goals. And it's still basically a one-possession game for Valley. But Waukee, both, if you're the offensive coordinators right now, you got to be going, what on earth? Because both teams have tried pretty much everything.
Here comes Drew Johnson back out. He'll send 2 receivers to each side. Hands it off to the deep back, Jordan Perry. He gets a couple over the left side. 2nd and 8 at the 22.
I don't know, Keith. What do you think is Waukee? Waukee's got to do something here. They got to keep running the ball with Perry.
Well, yes, but you talked about offense not doing much. Neither offensive line has their pads low enough. The defensive lines on both sides are playing with the lower pads and getting the advantage.
They bring Jake Morrison in and set him up on that tight end of the right side. They put an up back in front of Johnson, and now the play clock was running down, so Waukee's got to call a timeout. So let's do that ourselves. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more 6-0 Valley here with 8:70 to play in the first half.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Back at Waukee High School, Dar Danielson, Paul Yeager. Keith Bornas on the sideline here is Waukee trying to figure out something here offensively, trailing 6-0 to Valley. Valley off the missed field goal gave it back to Waukee. And now a little different formation, and we had a flag down before the play.
So
procedure call on Waukee.
So you think both teams thought they were better than they were last week?
Well,
or is it just both teams?
As I talked about it, they got out so early, it was really hard to, tell
This is
right
like
away.
a first game. I think you're right.
Yeah, they're kind of slugging it out now.
And maybe we're figuring out. Urbandale's maybe a better team than what you thought. Dowling was struggling with them.
So he sends Perry and DeVries to the right. Fakes, looks, throws across. Groothouse over his head.
It was there.
Yep.
He had a beat on Austin Fest.
Excuse me, that was Eaton.
Fest had
Number
the
18.
step.
Yep.
He absolutely had that step. That's 6 points.
And out of a little bit different, tighter formation that time. And brings up 3rd and 13. They'll go back to that more spread formation with receivers 2 to each side. Jordan Perry in there behind Drew Johnson. 8:12 to play. Clock stopped here in the first half. Waukee trailing 6-0. Handoff. Looking for room is Perry. He'll get maybe a yard if that. Maybe hoping to fill him up on the draw there, but the Valley defense stayed right at home and brought him down for, they're going to give him a loss on that where his knee came down, so it'll be 4th and 14.
Brendan Rowe made the tackle, and he was there the whole time. He stayed home, shielded off that block, and made a very fundamental tackle. So now
Hinkle and Brown back deep to receive.
You're going to have good field position again if you're Valley. If you're Waukee, you need to boot this.
Here's a snap low, gets it away, a low kick, bounces it to 50, taken by Hinkle. He's got a blocker up ahead of him, up the left side, 30, 25, 20, cuts back inside, is spun around and brought down at the 16-yard line. Oh, that low punt, he was able to pick it up it bounced to 50. He picked it up, what about the
39-yard return for Hinkle. And sometimes, so Keith, we've talked about special teams play. What happens on a low kick like that one was?
Well, when you have a low kick like that, there is no way your coverage can get down the field fast enough. And if there wouldn't have been a flag back there, we could have broke into a song of Hinkle, Hinkle, Football Star.
But there is a flag back at the 47 of Waukee, and that's going to take it back.
So see, there
10
you go.
10 yards, yep.
There's your break if you're Waukee on the field possession. Field position, not possession. I don't know what field possession.
You say position, I say possession.
We all say something.
Yeah. So instead of back down there at the 16, they move it all the way back to the 48. So that's about a 37-yard differentiation on the penalty there for.
It's basically if he would have fair
Valley.
caught it, that's where it would have been.
Yep. Trips to the right now for the Tigers. Lombardi hands it off to Mason. Sutter steps the first man through, gets cut out to the outside. He's going to turn the corner. He could go. 20, 10, 5, touchdown Tigers. It just kind of like in slow motion as he waited, got around the blocks, took the corner, turned on the Jets, and it's a touchdown for Valley with 7:05 to play. And what is that, 53?
52.
52.
And the play was sealed right at the end, Dar, on a block by?
Yep, let's see the replay here on it.
Watch Lombardi's block at the end.
Here we go. There's the handoff. Stutter steps inside, then cuts it outside. And you're right, Lombardi came up there and got that block. And he goes on into the end zone. While we're watching the replay, the extra point is up and good. And Mason puts Valley up now off the touchdown run in the PAT. 13-0 here with 7:05 to play in the first half. So it's a Credit Valley. You just think, well, that penalty set them back, but they were able to overcome it. Good running by Mason, and then good blocking upfield once he got outside and got that seam outside and was able to turn the corner. Well, Valley now up 13-0 here, and Waukee will be looking to get something going. Zach Eaton, Sam DeVries, and Tyler Grodhouse back deep to receive for Waukee. Hahn's kick is going to go deep into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So Waukee will take over 1st and 10 at the 20.
Keith Bornes, that play developed kind of right in front of you there.
It did just a little bit, and I'm sure everybody saw me on the screen there because Rocky Lombardi almost blocked me as well. And one of the things that I noticed on the lineup there on that last play is that they spread their splits out just a little bit to make Waukee spread their defensive splits out.
So here comes Waukee back out there in the purple on your screen. Man in motion comes across and the flag goes down, as is going to be procedure again against Waukee.
From bad to worse for Coach Carlson's crew.
Getting behind here a little more now, jumping a little bit, but still a lot of time left. There's no need to.
And you're only down 2 scores.
Yeah, two scores,
touchdowns.
and in the still in the first half, 7:05 to play here, but the penalty will move them back to the 15. Twin receivers to each side. They get the tight end in the slot there. He comes across to block as a handoff to Jordan Perry. He tries to cut it up and is met there after a pickup of a yard and knocked down.
Perry was maybe a half a step, just not fast enough, and otherwise he's running for another 20-25 yards on that play.
Mahoney, the safety, came up and put a lick on him. Good run support there. Second down and 14. Perry shifts to the other side of Drew Johnson. Drops back, looks, throws it out, and just beyond Zach Eaton out there. The timing just a little off here between Johnson and Eaton. Also good coverage out there by Valley. A part of that here in the early going of this ball game.
So now if you're Waukee, you got 3rd and long. There's not many plays in the playbook that are worth 15 yards. If they were, you'd run them every time.
Well, my coach always told me every play was designed to be a touchdown.
That's right.
If you do it right. But here's a handoff. No room there. And, still spins out and still going, but he's going to be taken down.
Well, first was Sam Rogers, but then, Keith, did I see Tariq Brown?
I think, yeah.
Number 1 on that play? Is he playing some defense? Or they have? Was that 14?
It was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it looked like one at first, too.
I did, too.
But
as I said it.
Lost brings them back to a 4th and 21 at the 9. So Waukee's drive not going anywhere on that one. And now they'll be punting out of their own end zone. And Brown and Hinkle are back there now to receive the punt. And it's a wobbler that's going to go out. They got a little bit of a bounce. It's going to go out at the 37-yard line. So it's not been a punting clinic here tonight either with these two teams so far.
Waukee has punted it once. Then they had their next possession was a fumble. Then it was a missed field goal. Then a fumble on the punt. So he never really did get it kicked.
Yep.
So I don't know if you think you call that a punt.
No, it wasn't a punt. He never did. So it's the first
have been a punt.
Time he got it off. Well, here comes Valley now. Chance to widen it up a little bit more here. 1st and 10 at the 37, leading by 13, 5:37 to play first half. Inside handoff, and this time he's stacked up and ripped down there. Jake Morrison in there to smother Mason for no gain. Maybe even a loss, they'll say, as they move that stake back. So, yeah, it'll be loss of 1. Second 11 at the 38.
If you're Waukee, you take absolute pride that you are giving Valley lots of trouble running the football.
Twins to each side. Lombardi looks quickly to the left, throws it out there a little too far. As I think if he put a little more air under that, might have hit him on the run. But goes over the head of the receiver. That's Luke Matney.
Matney not playing last week. Back in the lineup. He's considered the third best receiver on this team.
So
clock stopped on the incomplete, and if they're just not a lot of offensive flow for either one of these squads.
Lombardi throws it out, and late break on the ball by Grodhouse, but he got there a little quicker, and that might have been a pickoff the other way as he was looking for Brown. But Grodhouse knocked it down, and it's a 4th down again. So Waukee's defense holding him in it here. Just giving up the one big play to Mason, Javon Mason, on the touchdown run of 52 yards.
They're going to go for a 55-yard field goal here.
They are as they get Ben Carlisle comes in late. Here we go. There's the snap, the set, the kick is going to go way short. He's probably 4 or 5 yards short on that one. And I guess it's as good as a punt. You take it out to the 20.
Well, because if you would have punted it, you probably would have ended up on that spot anyway. So, Keith, why is it better defense tonight or better offense for these squads? Why aren't we seeing much flow?
Right now, it's better defense for both sides. The defensive line on both sides of the ball are by both teams. They just have the low pads. They're getting in there. And also, one of the keys for Waukee right now, their defensive backs are just blanketing the receivers.
So they got 2 receivers to the right. Dylan Jones, the tight end, on the left for Drew Johnson. And Jordan Perry behind him there. Waukee in the purple on your screen, Valley in the white. Valley up in this game inside. This time finding a little running room. Struggling ahead is Jordan Perry. That's a good first down run pickup of 6 for Perry.
Instead of going outside, they went up the middle. Maybe that's where you got to go.
Well, they bring Zach Eaton back in there. They've had Jake Morrison and Dylan Jones in there with the double tight ends. Here as they go a little tighter formation. Now they'll split 2 out to the left and 1 receiver to the right for Drew Johnson. He fakes down, runs it on his own, looking for some room. And looked like it was going to develop there early, but the defense quickly closed on him. He picked up a yard.
Cook makes the stop. But third and manageable here.
Yeah, key third down, though. 3rd and 2 for Waukee. 3:39 and counting here in the first half. They're trailing 13-0. Fakes the handoff, throws it out there. A nice tackle coming up to make the plays. Noah Barr hit him right at the line of scrimmage. Never let him turn the corner and get outside.
He actually lost a yard on
that. It looks like he did by the time he caught it. So bring up 4th and 3. And Waukee will have to punt again. And Zach Morrison goes back. First one he didn't get off the low snap. The second one he did, and it kind of angled out. Hinkle and Brown back deep to receive. Kind of low, taken by Hinkle at the 40. 45, sidesteps the man, still going, looking to the outside, and there's a flag down as he's pulled out of bounds at the 49, so flag right at the 50. So this may come back again.
Noah Barr was in the middle of something right there at the 50 where the flag is, right there on your screen. And he got up and put the arms out. An umpire would call that safe, but in football, that's the what?
That's
me?
a what? I didn't touch him. I didn't grab him.
Who, me?
So we'll see what the call is here. Likely going to move Valley back.
I always like that. So, Keith, that's 2 punt returns for Valley where they've made mental mistakes.
Yeah, and, you know, you talked about the idea that big gains are made between week 1 and 2, but there's a lot of hype in the game. You know, both teams want to come out and do a lot of great things, and because of that, you know, sometimes there's going to be mistakes just because you're either going to pick your eyes up too soon and try and look downfield further, or sometimes you just want to get out of your stance quicker. On these special teams things, they're playing beyond the whistle.
Well, they waved that off as you're talking, and they are explaining it to Coach Carlson over here, who was not happy to see them pick up the flag and wave it off.
And it was the same motion from one of the assistants that the player had given up. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Why? Who, us?
What?
Arms
so,
up.
It brings it to the Valley's own 49. Well, I was just about to say, last time they had the penalty in the punt, Javon Mason took it in. This time about the same spot, 51 yards away for Valley. Dropping back, Lombardi looking outside, rolling, and throws it as he's hit, and he just throws it away. As he was looking out there for Tariq Brown. Couldn't find him, and then finally threw it away as he felt the footsteps in there behind him.
Jake Morrison delivered quite the shot on Lombardi. That's a Big Ten level shot that Lombardi will have next year at Michigan State.
Second and 10. Brown and Heald out wide to the right. Hinkle to the left now. They'll put Jacob Morris in the slot there on the right with Javon Mason back with Lombardi. Hand off to Mason. Has some room, turns up the left side. Gets a block up to the 40. Ew, stepped out of bounds as he was trying to cut back inside, but he'll get the first down.
Trey Fugate there. A little burst of speed, a little different. Sometimes you go with that other back, kind of change the pace, the timing, the steps, and it worked.
Dowling now up 30-7 over Urbandale, so that's going how we thought it might go. So you're right, yeah, that was Fugate in there for Mason.
And now all of a sudden you're back in Waukee territory.
And that is Jacob Morris in there, the up back. They hand it off to Morris. He plows right ahead, gets a couple.
You haven't said his name all night, and you say his name, and he gets the handoff. Nice job. That's why you're legendary.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good,
Darn
you know.
Right.
So, clock rolling here. 2:11 to play. Valley up 13-0. Second 9 at the Waukee 39. That same formation this time with the back offset, the up back. Lobs it outside and just over the head of Heald. And
tell you what, Grodehouse has done a great job on the defense tonight. He has been everywhere. One of those, I don't know, Keith, is he playing man on man? Is he playing it just that direction, or is he always on Heald? Wherever Heald goes, he goes.
Well, I haven't been watching that part as much, but, you know, Waukee's come out and they've played this cover 4, and on a cover 4, the corners are playing man-to-man.
Here we go, 3rd and 9. Dropping back, hand off to Fugate. And he fumbles it on the ground. Waukee recovers. He ran upfield and looked back, and where's the ball? And it was on the field at the 40. And Waukee dives on it, so a turnover goes to, and Jake Morrison, you just talked about him. He's on the ball. And with 1:52 to play in the first half, it's back to Waukee.
Huge swing for Waukee. You got 1:52. You score here, you even get a field goal, you feel better. But man, if you're the Warriors, you've got to get 6 here. It gives you a whole bunch of momentum going into the break.
Tyrese Moore out wide to the left, along with Sam DeVries. They got a slot on the right and one receiver to the right. with Jordan Perry in there behind Drew Johnson. 1:52 to play. 1st and 10 at the 40. Fake. Looking, throws it, lobs it out. Groothuis has him at the 30, down to the 25. They finally make the connection. They've been close a couple times, and a big play for Waukee. Down to the 25.
35 yard pickup. Yeah, that's the play they ran back a couple of series ago that wasn't there. This time they got the timing just right.
Same formation. They have a man tight in on the right side there. Fakes a handoff, rolls to his right, looking for Groothuis, trying to go to the end zone, and a lot of bumping around back there with the defender. And that was Noah Barr all over him that time. Didn't let him break free, but he was looking for Groothuis again.
And Austin Cook delivered a shot to Johnson at the end of that play as well.
Clock stops, 1:33 to play here in the first half. 2nd and 10 at the 25 for Waukee. They bring in Zach Eaton, send him over to the left, so twins to each side now. As they look to the sideline to get the play. Fakes, throws across to DeVries, catches it down to about the 15. And is going to be close to a first down, just a little short, looks like.
That means the clock's going to keep running, but at $1:22, you're a little better, especially when you're this close.
And Waukee's got 2 timeouts, so 3rd and 1 here. You can afford to take a run up the middle to try to get the first down. They bring in a fullback on the slot over there. And handoff and stuffed in the backfield. He's going to lose a yard is Perry. As Valley got really good penetration in the middle that time. So 4th and 3, under a minute to play now. Clock rolling here.
So now if you're Waukee, you're going to kick the field goal, but you now have to worry about milking the clock and taking it off so Valley doesn't have an opportunity to get points before half.
So they're taking their time here. Play clock now at 10, and they haven't even come out. I think they might be calling a timeout.
They'll go about 9 seconds left, and it'll set up about a 35-yard field goal when we come out of this.
So they're going to try to cut it down. Skylar Crew missed a 32-yard field goal going the other way in the first half. He had hit a 39-yarder in the first game, 1-1 in the first game. So with 16 and a half seconds to play here, Waukee going to try to get on the board and to cut the lead down to 10. And Keith, what are you seeing down there out of Valley? They really got penetration on that last play, didn't they?
Yeah, Badal Nava right in the middle. He got a shove. He got his arms extended so he was able to create some space and get off that blocker. And when he plugged up that middle, the back was going nowhere. Perry had some very tough sledding.
So here comes Waukee with a chance to get on the board here and still feel pretty good about where they've been.
That's right.
Holding
Absolutely.
Valley. I mean, one play they let get away, but they've held them out of the end zone when they've been in good field position. But now they're coming out with trips, and looks like they're going to go with the offense here.
This is huge.
In motion across the formation, DeVries fakes,
Blitz.
looks, throws out to DeVries. He's got it in the flat. Can he cut it up? Spins around. Nope, he's not going to get there. It's going to go back
Forward
to
momentum
Valley.
has got him on the 20 on this near side.
Yeah, they're marking at the 20.
If you
looked like he had it up to. Where did you think he had it?
I thought he had it up to the 20, right where they marked it.
Marked it.
But that was where the backside of the line was, not the 10. Interesting. So you take no points. You run about 8 seconds. Same field position that it would have been on a missed field goal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So now with 10 seconds to play here, Valley, will they take a knee, or we'll see what they do. Or maybe just hand it off up the middle. Well, they're going to hand it off. and gets some room. Breaking through, 35-40. Mason cuts outside. He could go. 2 men to beat if he can outrun him. Stops now, still going, and he's knocked out of bounds with the time running off, but that was almost a big play for Valley to end the half, but he's knocked out at the 25, so just about broke it free there, but the defense did just enough to knock him out, and at halftime, it's going to be Valley 13, Waukee nothing. We'll take a break and come back with our halftime right after this.
For your halftime entertainment, taking the field now, the Waukee High School.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
This is Iowa, and here we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing, your size, your style, we've got it all.
Back at halftime, Dar Danielson, Paul Yeager here, 13-0 Valley, and what has been a sloppy game in some aspects, and then Waukee has it down and a chance to maybe kick a field goal and get some points on the board, decide to go for it, and they get stopped for a loss there, Paul.
Well, yeah, and I want to hear Keith, because Keith Bornes is on the sideline tonight. Keith, I asked you because I got to just ask him this. Okay, so I say, which is better tonight, offense or defense? And it's defense. But what is going on with these offenses? Is it really the defense, or is it just not good execution? And I know I'm being critical of high school kids. I'm sorry.
Well, it's a little bit of the execution, but it is a lot of the defense. The defensive lines are really controlling the line of scrimmage. And I'm so impressed with both teams on their defensive prowess tonight, as there's no yards up the middle unless it is a breakdown, a broken play. Mason has had 2 big runs.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
This is Iowa, and here we don't just dream, we make history by nearly doubling our clean energy as part of our 100% renewable vision. With this, our energy costs will remain some of the lowest in the nation. We'll create new jobs and boost economic growth. Our air will be cleaner, our state stronger, and together we'll advance this country's energy future forever. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Repeat and referral and word of mouth. That's the main ways we receive our customers now, and after being here 10 years, that has just exploded for us. And that's a big area of our business because people like the way they were treated. The customer experience we can provide is second to none, and we're committed to it. And I'm here to make sure that gets done.
Schottenkirk Chevy on the west end of Hickman, Waukee, WaukeeChevy.com.
Miss your hometown clothing store? The one that had it all? Everything to get the work done, all in one place? G&L Clothing is your hometown Iowa store. Stop in and see us. Or we're only a click or phone call away. Family owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing, 1801 Ingersoll, Des Moines.
G&L Clothing. Your size, your style, we've got it all.
Back, and it looked like, they were going to be in trouble after they moved it back there. They were at the 48, but Javon Mason then took it 52 yards up inside, cut it outside, and raced everybody to the end zone, and that made it 13-0 Valley. Waukee, as we said, came down here late in the first half, had a chance on fourth down to either kick the field goal or go for it, and they went for it and lost a yard, and so ended up losing a chance there to get on the board and cut the score down. So we're at halftime, so let's do this. We'll take another break, get caught up on our halftime breaks, and come back with more at halftime after this.
Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
At halftime, 13-0 Valley here at the half. Dar Danielson, Paul Yeager, and 30-10 in the second half. Dowling leading Urbandale in another matchup, and we'll try to get you some more scores here when we can. So, Keith, are you still with us down there? What's the Waukee coach? What's he telling them here in the locker room?
I think what Coach Carlson is talking about in the locker room right now is just staying with the plan defensively. They've done a fantastic job. They've had two big plays on offense and a long field goal that has made the difference in the game. They just need to stay with the same game plan. Offensively, he's going to be talking to that offensive line, saying we got to get some more time. Get your pad levels a little bit lower, get a drive off the ball.
And we did see him hook up once, Jude Bronson with Tyler Grotehouse. They've had a couple close connections there in the first half. Maybe give him a little more time. He can hit some of those routes in the passing game there.
Absolutely. He's throwing the ball better as the game is going on. Even under pressure, even though it comes off a little bit wobbly, it's going into the right place. Just the timing is off a little bit. So the second half, he's probably going to throw the ball much better than he did the first half, which is something that Coach Swenson would probably be saying. They are just a few fingertips away from being ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. And they've also had some good blockings in there, and I think probably tell them, hold those blocks, because Javon Mason is going to find the gap once he gets in there, isn't he?
He is. He's really got a nose for the hole on that defensive line, not just here, but typically every night. And so when it's not there initially, just maintain. Don't go backward, and get your arms extended as far as you can before contact rather than trying to push them off. And yes, if Mason can get any type of a gap, he's going to exploit it.
All right, time running down here in the first. At halftime, we're going to take our final break, and we'll come back with the start of the second half right after this.
This is Iowa. And here, we don't just dream of a better tomorrow, of a smarter way to do business or live, of perseverance and progress. We inspire it in others. We challenge the conventional, reimagine what it means to be better, and then dare ourselves to make it great. This is Iowa, and here, we don't just dream, we make history.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
At halftime here, you're wrapping up the halftime. Valley Tigers are back out, and Waukee down on the far end. Waukee did defer after winning the toss, so they will get the ball here to start the second half, Paul, after going down there and saying no to the field goal and then getting stuffed on a play, which would have got them on the board. And that was another thing. You score there, you get the 3, and then maybe you come down, and you got a one-score ball game right away. But you got to forget that that's over. You come out and start the second half and try to put together a drive.
But now, okay, if you're Waukee, you've put together a couple of good drives here. You've hit some slant patterns. You've proven that you can get behind the linebackers into the secondary, look for Grotehouse to get past some of those guys, and you have the opportunity. And then that hopefully opens up a couple of those runs underneath for Perry. I got to give a lot of credit. Valley defense has kept Perry in check tonight. He is not the same back that he was a week ago. This is where I think a lot gets done. There's a lot said, what did you do at halftime? Some coaches will tell you that, that's overrated, what we talked about.
Yeah.
It's the adjustment that the coaches make, because if you've got somebody up above on a headset and you've got 6 other guys yelling at the same time, if you can get into a quiet area, quiet relatively speaking in a football game, and just say, we got to do this, we got to do that, have that flow of ideas. If you're Waukee, you all of a sudden you look at it and say, all right, I think we got to just start throwing that football, and I think we got to run it up the middle. And then if you're Valley, you're saying, all right, we got to get it to the edges, or we've got to get it, maybe we got to do some rollouts. I think, Dar, you and I talked about it off air for a moment. Think about the bootlegs. Rocky Lombardi has been kept in the pocket a lot tonight. He has not gotten out. If that's been your game plan to either A, keep him at home, or try to, if you're Waukee, keep him at home, or if you're Valley, you're saying we need to keep him in the pocket more. I don't know which one's winning out here, but he's definitely not getting forward momentum to the outside on a roll.
And as Keith pointed out, it looked like Drew Johnson started to get a little more comfortable on his throws as the game wore on here, and was getting closer. He hit Grotehouse in that one, so we'll see how that plays out too here as Valley lining up ready to kick it off. Clock winding down here to start the second half, and Waukee comes out. The Warriors here right down in front of us in the purple, and Valley, they're eager to get going here as Waukee will come out and get their final instructions to get this second half started. A 13-0 Valley lead, but you can't say by any means dominating or either team, because Waukee had some good offensive plays. Valley stopped on several drives too, busted the one big play, but going back deep again will be Grotehouse, DeVries, and looks like Tyrese Moore back there now. Deep to receive for Waukee. And Hahn will kick it off as we're ready to start the second half here. Game number 2 on CISN.TV of the season. This one is going high and deep into the end zone, and it'll come out to the 20. So 1st and 10 at the 20. We'll see what Waukee does with it now. Looking for a drive to get some points on the board.
Keith, did you hear anything of the guys coming out of the locker room? Anybody have some loose lips around you?
No, everything's talked about inside and everything's played outside.
All right.
I had to ask, Dara.
You never know. Twins to each side for Johnson. They look to the sideline now to get the play. As this formation spread, we saw quite a bit in the first half. Hands off. Now finding some running room. Cutting back up toward the middle is Jordan Perry.
So much for running up the middle.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not coaching.
Well, he started to cut it out and come back. He did pick up 4. That's not a bad. That's probably the best run on first down he's had here. I'll give him I guess they're going to give him 3. That's a long 3, almost 4, but 2nd and 7.
Still going to that spread.
And they'll bring in a third receiver
Trips.
here. go trips. They took the tight end off and brought in a third receiver. And faked the handoff. Looking, rolling. Now we'll cut it up the middle. Got some room, cuts inside, and diving ahead. It'll be short of the first down, but Drew Johnson picks up a few yards.
That looked like a design play maybe to that direction. I don't think they were real interested in throwing the football. I think the first option was the out.
Maybe spread everybody out, pull the defenders back.
Yep.
Yeah. But
clear out that area with the traffic. And now you've definitely got a very manageable 3rd and 2 here.
Yeah, he picked up 5, makes it 3rd and 2 on the 28 for Waukee. They'll go to that twins to each side again. Jordan Perry, the back, hands off to Perry, looking for room over the left side, cuts it up, got a seam, 40, 45, 50, trying to turn the corner outside, is knocked out of bounds on the far side at the 45.
Start in, then go out. That's what it looked like there.
About a, what is it, 10, 26-yard pickup around there. 1st and 10 at the 45, so Waukee rolling here on their first series. First big running play of the night for them. As they look over to the sideline to get the play. Twin receivers again to each side. Jordan Perry back there with Johnson. He fakes it this time, runs straight up the middle and picks up 4. So now maybe trying to loosen up the secondary a little bit, keep them off balance by running it up.
4 straight run plays to start this half.
2nd and 6 at the 41. And they'll send trips to the left side. Single receiver out here to the right. Man comes in motion across the formation, hands it off to DeVries. He looks for room, cuts it inside, and it gets hit after picking up a yard. So DeVries comes from that receiver slot, takes the inside handoff, and picks up 1. 3rd and 5 at the 40. They've got Ryan Keck out there now into the game with DeVries. There's one of the trips out there wide to the left. Single receiver to the right. Fakes now, lobs it out there to him. He's hit and he handles it. I think it's going to be a first down. That is Tyrese Moore. And he did a good job to get that, and he got stuck right in the ribs by the defensive back, but he hung on to it.
And that was a slow developing play. It was like an out and up fake there. And there were 3 white shirts coming for Drew Johnson.
Now they bring Jake Morrison back in. He runs kind of that slot position here on the right. 2 receivers to the left. They leave 1 out to the right. Looking, throwing deep across the middle, and it's over the head there. Moore went to Moore again. And Moore just down and in and just over his head a little bit. If that's on target, he's got a chance of maybe hauling that in and heading toward the goal line.
First 5 have been runs, second 2, last 2 have been passes. And now this is more what Waukee had in the first half.
Looks like Eaton and DeVries wide to the left. They got Jake Morrison in the slot left. Fake the handoff, rolling to his left, throws it out there, has a man, DeVries at the 20, 15, 10, cuts it back inside and is taken down at the 10-yard line.
Gain of 24, huge. Again, Dar.
Who was talking about rolling out the quarterback?
I was just about to say, I had no idea what I was talking about. Keith, once in a while, you just fall into it. Waukee's moving the ball with ease now.
Well, one of the things that has happened is Sorensen out here on the left side, he's starting to wall off that and opening up the edge for the running backs, and now with the crossing patterns, Waukee's really moving the ball well.
Dylan Jones, the big tight end over on the left side on the inside receiver there. Handoff fake. Johnson looking for room, and he's going to slip 1 tackle, but the second guy will get him and drop him behind the line of scrimmage. He got
Yenser.
Yenser, yep, got him. He slipped the first tackle, but that time the defensive line stayed right home and figured it out. Ryan Keck comes in now at the receiver spot as they'll go to twins again to each side. Second and 11 at the 12 for Waukee. First drive of the second half. Fake, throws across the middle. Oh, did he catch it? No, didn't get it there. Keck. Little skitty post in there and couldn't get it.
Mahoney gets a hand in there. That was almost. That was a great route. A good slant right in the middle, right behind that linebacker. Good spot for that. But this is huge. This third down.
Bring in Jake Morrison again. They'll put him on the tight end on the right side. Single receiver left, one to the right. That is Moore and DeVries on the right side. And now they looked over for the play and decided to call a timeout. 37-10 Dowling in the second half. And we'll take a quick break and come back with more. 13-10, Valley still leading.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Back at Waukee High School, the Warriors have taken the ball from the 20 after the touchback to start the second half, driven it down to the Valley 11-yard line, where it's 3rd and 11, and they're just key here, Paul, for them to get on the board in some fashion here after, you drive it all the way down and you get nothing out of this, and that's really going to, your defense can only hold you in it for so long.
You started this at your own 20. And you're knocking on the door. You've gotten as close as the 10.
Fake, looking, still going, trying to go. Sack, ripped down back there. Nate Yenser, one of them back in there.
And Naba
and Yenser.
Man, that
closed the door on that. And that took a long time, too. Drew Johnson. Keith, what was he looking for?
Well, he's certainly looking for one of these receiver coming into the running that post, but what he ended up looking at was his offensive line getting pushed back into him.
Here's the snap, bounces, kick by Crew is blocked. Bouncing snap, it's blocked. They're going to try to pick it up. Valley will pick it up. He's on the run. 40, 35, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Valley, Noah Barr picks it up. Runs it in for the touchdown. Noah Barr. They said Jacob Spahn, they say, blocked it. Noah Barr picked it up and returned it. Did you pick up the return yardage on that?
Well, he picked it up at about, there was a lot of passing back and forth. If I had to wage a guess, Dar, I'm going to say that's about a 56-yard. We can watch that on replay.
Yeah, we'll watch the replay here after the kick and figure out how what it was here. Here's the PAT. It's up and good. And that makes it 20-0. And let's see the replay here. As the snap came in low and then fumbled back there. He's going back for it. And still trying to get it. And Barr picks it up at the 39. He's got it at the 39.
So a 61-yard.
61-yard fumble return, or a fumbled snap. Or was it blocked?
It was blocked.
It was blocked,
It
yeah.
was blocked
Okay.
right there in the
So
middle.
much happened, I forgot. Here goes Barr, and then he had some escort there, but didn't really need him. He was way out ahead of everybody, as you see the slow-mo as he runs it back in. So 61-yard block return.
Keith, if anything could have gone more wrong for Waukee on that series?
No, there was such a push up front by the Valley's defensive line. it just exacerbated what happened with the snap, the hold, the getting the ball up into the barely off the ground. Jacob Spann, he's about 9 feet tall, so his wingspan's very good, and that helped out quite a bit. And then Barr, he's pretty quick to finish that play off.
So the 61-yard blocked field goal return, and Valley's up 20-0. Here's the kick, and that's roaring through the back of the end zone. So it's deja vu for Waukee. They're back at the 20. The problem is they had a long drive and they didn't get any points out of it again. And they'll take over 1st and 10. 37-17 now. Dowling ahead of Urbandale in our other ball game tonight. And here comes Waukee again. Drew Johnson brings him out. I want to say it is early in the game still. You know, you can't get overly trying to hurry too much here and make mistakes. So Waukee can drive it down the field, lob over the top, and a little too far, almost. A diving interception by Mahoney. John Mahoney tried to leap out there and one-handed. And as they try to throw it up the field to, I think that was Dylan Jones, the big tight end there. And he'll come out now. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
So Waukee had 7 run plays on that last drive for 38 yards, 2 of 4 passing for 30 yards. No points, in fact, a -7.
Throws it out. Oh, on the slant and almost picked off as DeVries just turning and didn't see it. And Keith, what's going on with the timing over there? Are they just trying to go a little too quick?
Well, I don't know if they're trying to go too quick right now or not. You're tired. You just had a very long series.
Yeah, you're right.
4.5 minutes on the field, yeah.
Right, and so now you're coming back a little bit more deflated, just trying to get picked up again and figure out, we're still playing football.
3rd and 10. Fake the handoff, look for the inside. Screen coming back. And it's intended for Eaton. Zach Eaton, but goes incomplete. And you kind of you hit it on the head right there. Eaton kind of put his head down after he dropped that one. It's just deflating. You drive down the field and no points out of it. And then you turn right back around and it's kind of like when you get a quick defensive score and then you come right back out and play defense. Although there you scored, and it's a little different, but.
Yeah, the time of possession is definitely in Waukee's favor, but the points aren't.
They'll be back to punt again. Here's a low snap. He's going to try to pick it up and run. It'll be smothered under. So the mistakes here on special teams hurting. It'll be 1st and goal to go.
Sam Rogers and Noah Barr. Another fumbled another snap that didn't make it all the way back to the punter or the kicker. That's at least the 4th time tonight that I can count, Dar.
Yeah, and Morrison did his best to try to pick that up and make something out of it, but now here's Valley with a 1st and goal at the 5 and a chance, well, to put it at the 6, and a chance to really just blow it wide open here.
So here's the thing. If you're Valley and you score on the first play here, the Waukee offense has got to go back out on the field within just a short amount of time. So your defense really has got to give your offense a chance to rest.
Hand off to Mason, the deep back, cutting out to the right side. Tries to cut it back in. It'll come up a little short as he dives to the goal line, but got to put him down. What about the 2? So pick up 4. 2nd and goal at the 2. Mason had a 52-yard touchdown run back in the 1st quarter. Or excuse me, 2nd quarter. Hand off to him again. He slides in easily, standing up over the left side for the touchdown with 6:17 to play from 2 yards out. It's Javon Mason. And he takes it in, standing up. And Hahn will come out for the extra point. And there's the snap, the kick. And it's good, and it's 27-0. And let's want to go to the replay? Okay, let's go to the replay here. Take a look at that run. And just got a lead block up in there, but handoff to Mason. And, yeah, really good lead block by the up back, and he just goes standing up, as you see right there, in through the hole on the replay. And the extra point makes it 27-0 with 6:17 to play here.
I can do the drive chart on that one, Dar. 2 plays, 6 yards. All of them rushing. 2 carries, 6 yards. Javon Mason on both of those. 27-0. So Waukee goes 3 and out and a nightmare on 4th down to set up that field possession. And now that drive, Dar, only took 40 seconds.
Yeah. The kickoff again here. 3 men back deep, and they really haven't had any chance to return any of these. They've been through the end zone for a touchback. No breeze out there at all.
Beautiful night, though.
And, yeah, it is a beautiful night for football. And Cobb's in. So, again, your Waukee, let's pull it together. Let's get a drive going and get some points on the board. And maybe you do that and you pin Valley back and let the defense try to do something again here. But you need to get a sustained drive going. I'm sure that's what the coach is telling them over there on the sideline as you see their huddle and they break out. Waukee in the purple. Heading out, they send DeVries and Eaton wide to the left. Single receiver to the right. And a handoff right into the middle for a couple yards is Jordan Perry.
Jordan Perry, number 12 on the carry for the Warriors.
Pickup of 2. And
tackle for Valley's number 84, Nick Bartusik.
Well, up the middle.
Bartusik with the tackle.
Up the middle on that one is a good spot to go. They had some success with Perry getting him that football. Let's see if they do that again.
Fakes a handoff, rolls out, let his man deep, and he throws it short. And he had Tyrese Moore breaking deep, but he threw it to the short man, DeVries. And DeVries picked up some yardage, but Moore broke through there, and nobody picked him up defensively. So it brings up a 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, you saw that. Who was, that was DeVries?
DeVries, yeah, who caught the little out.
Yeah, I was watching Moore with you.
Trips to the left. Moore stays on the right side here.
Gotta hurry, 5 on the clock.
2 seconds, they snap it with 1 second to go. Lobs it out there looking for Moore, just over his head. He was double covered. He almost dropped it in over the top, but it goes incomplete. And Stotts is back there, one of them on the coverage. And brings up 4th down. And punting has been an adventure here because of the snap for Waukee. This time they send 3 guys in there to protect, but you still got to get the snap back to him. And it's been on the bounce here a couple times. That one's low, handles it and gets a good kickoff. And taken by Hinkle. Hinkle evades the tackler, heading outside, and he's not going to get away from the second guy, but he picked up about 4 yards, 5 yards, 6. Paul says it's 6.
I got that little finger over there.
Yeah, 6 on the pickup. After evading the tackler there, it'll be 1st and 10 Valley on the 43. 37-17 the final Dowling over Urbandale tonight. So Dowling goes to 2-0. And
hello to the Dowling coaching staff that's probably now watching this contest. Already looking ahead to this one.
Lombardi hands off to the deep back. That's not Mason, that is
Fugate, 9?
Yeah, Fugate.
Pick up a
Wasn't it?
5.
Or no, that was Mason. Okay. Fake my own self out. That was Mason with the handoff. Picks up 5, 2nd and 5.
Next week we'll have that contest right here on CISN. Valley and Dowling. Always a good one. But Valley still has
some work to do yet.
Has work to do yet.
Halfway, 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Handoff and stacked up this time behind a line of scrimmage is Mason. And Waukee brings up a third
5
down.
Did you hear the PA? 5 different Warriors. That's right. They got through on that. They clearly beat the offensive line. It is just not the offensive line of that Valley fans have come to expect. I mean, you look at the guys that they have that are now playing Division I football.
Here it comes, 3rd and 6. Fake the handoff, rolls out, throws it back the other way, has a man open. 40, 35, and knocked down.
Fullback, Morris.
Yeah, Morris. And he finished that with a flourish, piling over the tackler at the 33 as he's knocked out of bounds, and it's a first down. So everybody looking for Mason that time, and they rolled out the other way and found the fullback coming out wide open. So Morris
21.
Morris and Mason stay in there in the backfield for Lombardi with the receiver to each side. And Valley just grinding down here. Hand off to Mason. Hit by the man. Fumble! Picked up! And taken the other way out of bounds. Late fumble there. Looked like he was going down, but picked up.
And Mason is slow to get up at the 35. And there is a penalty flag. Keith, I don't know if you saw anything different than you're on the opposite side. That was more in front of us, so we should have seen it. But what'd you see from your angle?
Well, I didn't see anything as far as the penalty was concerned.
It's personal foul against Valley, by the way. Go ahead.
Came in very late, so I'm wondering if it was just a late hit out of bounds.
Yeah, but it's going against Waukee, though. Yeah.
Well,
right.
I didn't see anything. It still could have been a late hit out of bounds.
Well, it might have been a late block as he was going up the sideline
But
there.
they did call personal foul on it. It goes all the way back to the 32.
They came down right in front of the players here. So another fumble. Turnover's been a little bit of an issue for Valley. They fumbled one earlier, but so far Waukee has been able to turn those turnovers into points. Let's see what they do with this. 1st and 10 at the 32. Still 2:48 to go in the third quarter. Still time left here. They're trailing 27-0 here. They send Ryan Keck across the formation to the left side. And snap bobbled a little bit. Breaks out of there, throwing on the run. Almost caught there by Tyrese Moore. Flag down, interference.
A little early, I think. I think they're going to get Connor Shelton on that one. I think Shelton's arm was in there just a little too early. Good move, good roll by Johnson. That was a nice-looking play.
And credit to Lyon that time, too. They stayed with those blocks and kept a little bit of a pocket for him to move around back there. And the penalty.
So they get those yards back now.
Yeah. Penalty moves it up to the 47. What'll be 1st and 10 at the 47. So he'll send, looks like Keck and Grodhouse to the left, Tyrese Moore to the right here. And they've got Morrison in the slot over there. Cut back inside, almost broke through the hole there, but scoots ahead for good yardage is Jordan Perry. And
I think that was one of the best runs Perry's had of the night. Now, not because of yardage, but in the moves that he was able to make and the space he was able to create.
So they bring Dylan Jones back in, the big tight end. He's set up on the right side of the set. And hand off to Perry. Perry trying to cut outside, turn the corner, but no room there to turn it. He stopped at the line of scrimmage and a flag down. Some block in the back, maybe, Keith?
Well, at the time of the play, I was behind some very, very big guys dressed in white, so I didn't see that.
Now, it's the sideline guy's duty to get open over there, right, Paul? We don't take any excuses about being blocked off, do we?
Boy, you should. They were quite a bit larger than I.
Now, but see, coaches get to stand in that white box, and they don't usually get blocked. But when coaches are turned into broadcasters, they don't have that same privilege that you get to go farther.
Yeah, I broke through the line one time up to the white, but the coaching box, but they've blocked me out since.
Here's the snap, fake, rolling to his right, looking, has a man break across. Oh, diving attempt over there by Moore, and he can't get to it. Tyrese Moore had broken open on the rollout and just a little beyond his outstretched leap there, and it brings up a 2nd and 16. And another penalty flag down against Waukee. And ineligible man downfield. Well, it was Valley that was hurting themselves early in the game, Paul, with penalties, and now it's flipped over to Waukee doing that as they try to get a drive going here.
I don't know if both teams are just getting tired, but they're getting sloppy right now. Minute 44 to play. They've had to play the full game.
Joe Shanter comes out. They bring in Dylan Jones again at the tight end.
So they decline the penalty. 3rd and 16. Let's see if Perry, the track star can get going.
Dropping back, looking. I think he was trying to set up the screen, but nobody's there. And he gets sacked behind the line of scrimmage.
15-yard loss on that sack. Bartusik.
So that took a big step forward, but now a couple big steps back here for Waukee. And the clock winding down, it'll be 4th down. And Zach Morrison comes back out to punt.
See if they can get the snap to him. That's been a problem tonight for Waukee.
Hinkle's back there and Brown, I believe.
Good snap, good kick.
Yeah, good high kick. Brown gets under it, takes it at the 30, drops back, looking to cut it up the field. The 35, it is pulled down. At the 39, the ball comes out, but I think it came out as he went down. And that's what they're going to say. So Valley will hang on to it here as we're under a minute now to play in the 3rd. Valley leading 27-0. Waukee took the opening drive of the second half from the 20, drove it down, was setting up to try a field goal, had it blocked, and that was returned for a touchdown, 61 yards by Valley. And it's just kind of sucked the momentum out of them a little bit here in the second half. So here comes Rocky Lombardi again. They go back to the twin receivers. Now throws it out. Nice leaping catch out there by Brendan Heald. And it'll be a 1st down for the Tigers.
Off his shoulder, Heald really did a good job to go up and get that one. It was a nice play.
Braden Heald with the catch. And 1st and 10 Valley at the 43.
Is that a pickup of 18, I believe?
Hand off inside, cutting up, still going. Is Fugate. He's close to the 1st down over there.
Tackled by Hunter Deskin, number 41, and Jake Wiggins, number 66.
Deskin and Wiggins in on the tackle.
Well, 2nd and 1. It's a 9.5-yard pickup, and that's going to be the quarter.
Yep, that'll be the, well, wait a minute. Nope, okay, they stopped the clock for a second, but they did. Okay, we'll go to the fourth quarter. Valley leading 27-0. Back with the final period after this.
Here's to everybody who knows
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
We go to the fourth quarter. Valley leading 27-0 here. 2nd and 1 at the 34-yard line of Waukee. And hard-fought game, but a night of missed opportunities, Paul, for Waukee offensively.
Yeah, you go back to that first drive of the second half when they go all the way. They go 60 yards, 59. They get to the 11, go backwards, and then on a field goal attempt, it's blocked, and Waukee has not been the same really since that first drive.
Yeah, and you know, that came after they went for it right toward the end of the first half and didn't make it, but then they came out and boom, out of the locker room, drove it down there and had it blocked. Here's a handoff inside, cutting outside, and they'll get the first down there is Fugate. Yep.
He's got another gear, doesn't he?
He does. He has a little bit. He also has a little bit of that Mason has, where he can kind of like slow for a second and look for the gap, and then punch the accelerator again. So Fugate, who had he outrushed Mason last week at 28 to 20 yards, but.
Well, Keith, I'll ask you after this play, but Fugate kind of reminds me of another Mason, the older brother. Your thoughts on that after this?
Lombardi looking, throwing the fade. No, that's knocked around, and it's going to go incomplete, almost picked off.
What do you think? Does Fugate run like the older Mason?
He runs very similar to the older Mason. And the biggest difference between Trey Fugate this year and last year is he's put some time into the weight room. And so if you remember back to Tyus was about that size when he was a sophomore, and then he started to get bigger. Fugate has the time to put a little more size on, and if he can keep the speed and the moves like Tyus had, he could be almost a spitting image.
Here's a 2nd and 10 play. Hand off, and boom, he's hit as he was heading toward the hole. Fugate, and stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Nathan McDonald on the tackle, the middle linebacker for the Warriors. As the defense, they've done a pretty good job here of holding Valley. One defensive one blocked field goal given up, and then a short field where they gave up the touchdown. But other than that, here's throwing over to the right side, caught, touchdown!
Luke Matney in his first game
back. Yep, Luke Matney caught it. 22 yards out from Lombardi to Matney. And extra point pending here. There's the snap, the hold, the kick is up and good. And let's take a look at that touchdown pass. See him up on the outside there. Just goes straight out, goes out a little bit around the defender, comes back, and Lombardi just lobs it over to him. The defender had a chance there late, but well, credit Matney's concentration as he made the catch even after the defender dove up for that, and that makes it, with the extra point, 34-0 here, Valley. And with 44 seconds to go in the third, 22-yard touchdown pass.
I don't know how well it picked up on the replay, but Rothler was right there. And you talk about crediting Matney with his concentration. Rothler actually tipped the ball.
Oh, did he get a hand on it?
He did.
I couldn't see that from the replay, but it looked like he was right there. And yeah, Matney just had to keep an eye on it, and it came down. But good pickup there is, yeah, you say it was tipped just a little bit.
And Keith, was it underthrown a little bit too?
I don't think it was
No,
necessarily
I think he put just a little too much air.
Too much air on
Yeah,
it?
he lobbed
Okay.
it a little bit because, just hung it up there. And this kick now taken at the 1, up across the 10. Oh, reverses field the other way. Now back, and it'd be pulled down. There's Keck.
I was just shocked that Cole Hahn didn't put it in the end zone.
Yeah, that one at the 1, but almost as good as the return comes out to the 11. He got a 10-yard return on that. Well, the first one of the night that wasn't a touchback.
So this will be the worst starting field position for Waukee, their own 11.
Well, now they're going to say, is it the 12? Well, they're going to say at the 12, so give them an 11-yard return.
All right.
As we get the fourth quarter going, handoff up the middle, spins out of a tackle, but then now is spinning back and now reverses field the other way.
Big hole.
He's got some room outside. Can he get outside and go? 30, 35, 40, 45. There's Jordan Perry. That's the kind of running you've been talking about all night, Paul, but the first time he's been able to go, and man, he had to run about 60 yards for
His
30-some there, yeah.
Well, now, Perry was an athlete at Waukee 2 years ago, and his folks moved to Minnesota, and he played in Minnesota last year, did not play for Waukee, and he's back this year. Missed his friends and competed in track, and he's very good in track. But that football speed is a little different than the track speed.
Johnson takes it himself outside and out of bounds.
Drew Johnson carries on the right side. Penalty flag on the play.
And the flag down.
Holding against the Warriors.
Well, I see they'd gone a few plays there without penalties, and here it comes back to him again. Yeah, let's take a look at that run again.
This
Here's the
is
replay
Iowa.
As he spins
And
back
here,
around, goes
we
back
don't
to
just
the
dream
right.
of a better tomorrow,
on some
of a
speed.
smarter way to do business or live,
Around the corner,
of
but,
perseverance and progress.
good angle by the defender.
We inspire it in others. We challenge the conventional, reimagine what it means to be better, and then dare ourselves to make it great. This is Iowa, and here we don't just dream.
Defensive coaches will be talking about that play in film.
I asked Coach Swenson what it was like to see those two defensive line scores last week, Keith, and he kind of didn't want to give those guys credit, but he knew it was fun for those kids, but they had to move on to tonight's game. Another penalty flag as the play is kept by the quarterback. And what did you say about we had gone a while without penalties,
Yeah.
and now we've had, I think, 3 and 3?
We had. Now it's like back to penalties again. Had been an issue there for a little bit. And
that one's
face
called.
mask. Oh, that's the other way. So that puts back some of the yardage for Waukee. Waukee is back here again next Friday night. We'll have them against Ankeny, and then it's Dowling at Valley next week, and another flag before they got the snap going, a procedure penalty.
And I think I just saw a clipboard on the Waukee coaching staff side that might have been damaged. One of the coaches threw that down. Keith, you've never seen that before, have you?
It has never, ever happened when I've been around, but I do know that we come with plenty of clipboards.
So here comes Waukee. Trips to the right. Fake. Looking out, run. And be spun around behind the line of scrimmage and dropped. Drew Johnson.
I think Nash, Darius Manuel.
Manuel did a great job of extending his arms the right way. You want to create that space defensively to be able to get off your man. He did a great job in shifting his body out to the sideline. One of the things that you always want to do as a team is have every series you want to get faster.
2nd and 24. Dropping back, rolling, throwing up, and knocked away. He wanted the interception, but they said incomplete. It hit the ground, intended for Tyrese Moore.
Grant Stotts, Keith, is that who that was?
Yeah, Stotts was in there, and if they had a red flag that they could throw in from the sideline, they might try and do that.
Do the replay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like a soccer red card.
No.
Red flag, because Stotts kind of just spun the ball.
Maybe
like
it's
a
the
top.
replay red flag, yeah.
I see.
Well, you know those wrestlers.
3rd and 24 on the 28. Waukee needs a bunch to keep the drive going. They throw it back in, and he goes down, and you can't get up and run after that. If it were the NFL, it would have been, but and they rule it incomplete anyway, so bring up a 4th down.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Keith.
I didn't know if I could take a moment or not, but there's a pretty special birthday in my
That's right.
In my family. My daughter Anna turned 6 today, and that was a big day. So we're looking forward to celebrating that this weekend.
How's Bruiser doing? She had a concussion in the 2nd day of school.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she is.
She's starting fights again.
Yeah. Well, we got to start her early.
Yeah.
She was arguing with one of the boys about a play at the football game, and says, "No, it was more like this. He hit him like this."
Low snap, bounced, picked up, and good high punt. And a late fair catch, drops it, picked up by Waukee. And
well, that's a way to move the football.
That came in a little high for Tariq Brown. He called the fair catch late, and I kind of think with the defenders coming in on him, he lost sight of it, but it'll turn over to Waukee, and they get it 1st and 10 at the 35.
That play may not make it to the film room before it is discussed.
And so Waukee, 8:53 to play. A little life here for the offense. They come out. A short field now. Let's see if they can get something going and get on the board. Fake, dropping back, throwing across over the head of the receiver out there. I think that was Grodhouse. Or no, it was Eaton.
Noah Samples, number 23, defending on the play for Valley.
Came down and in and just kept it high. There were 2 defenders on him, so you didn't want to, you had to be a little careful with that pass anyway as he double covered.
Valley faithful all still here. Waukee starting to thin out just a little bit. Trying to rally this team just a little bit. They got some life.
More in motion. He gets the handoff, inside handoff, cuts it up, and was he got by that guy. He had more room on the outside, but he got a good yardage there.
Kyle Sorensen, nice block on the offensive line for Waukee there. Kind of sealed that end. Allowed for that extra couple of yards, but of course we have an illegal shift penalty called, and never mind.
Just going to bring it back. So kind of that.
Illegal motion against the Warriors.
I guess that jet screen, to call it, as he came back inside, but wiped away. And brings up now set of 3rd and short, 2nd and 15 for Waukee.
So Keith, you think a few people will be at that Valley Dowling game next week?
Yes, there is a good possibility that there is going to be a full house there.
Twins to each side for Johnson. Looks, now tucks
nice.
it. Trying to get outside. He's got a blocker out there if he could turn it, but the defense comes in and swarms him, and then a flag goes on. It might be a face mask on there. I think it was. We'll see. Yeah, I think it's going to be a face mask, so that'll be 15.
Victor Areola and Grant Stotts were there. I'm not sure if it was one of them that got the penalty. We don't give the numbers.
It looked a little bit like Mr. Stotts decided to carry that play outside of the legal playing field just a little bit.
That's what it was, because, yeah, it was a personal foul. He didn't indicate the face mask. I thought when Johnson came up, he was indicating that, but they gave the personal foul, too. That's going to be 15 either way and should be a first down for Waukee.
I got to check that Ankeny and Centennial score, because that's who Waukee hosts
next
week.
So 1st and 10 at the 25, 8:15 to play in the game for Waukee. They're trying to get on the scoreboard here. Johnson wings it out there to Moore. Moore gets it inside. Picks up 5.
Jaguars of Centennial knock out the Hawks 31-18. So Centennial will come in here 2-0 next week. Or
no, it's Ankeny.
Ankeny will come in 0-2.
So both 0-2, yep.
Because they lost to Dowling in the opening
Dropping
week.
back, avoids the rush, and now gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Is Johnson. Eluded the rush. That's one thing where after he pulled that down, you want to maybe have him look upfield again to see if there is somebody open, but may not have had time for that. 3rd and 8 at the 23. Keck comes over here to this side. 2 receivers to the right, slot on the right. And rolling right, under pressure. Throws it, and
nice.
Caught. Did he get in? No, I think he got out right at the 1.
Oh, nice.
Tyrese Moore, nice tightrope over there, just about was able to stop and get it across the line. But goes out at the 1, so it'll be 1st and goal for Waukee.
That was a fantastic play overall, but it also shows what a great job the officiating crew does on helping each other out. The judge in the end zone did not have a clear view on it. The side judge did, and they both made the right call there.
Mr. Hometown Clothing Store,
off,
the one that had it all, everything to get the work done, all in one place.
What's the call?
G&L Clothing
Nope,
is your
get
hometown
it. I was
Iowa
waiting
store.
for the guy on the far side
Stop
to come in
and
the
see
line.
us.
He came in, didn't
Or
raise
we're
the
only
arm,
a
so it's
click or
going to
phone
be
call
short.
away.
2nd
Family
goal.
owned for nearly a century. G&L Clothing,
3
1801
Valley
Ingersoll,
defenders.
Des
Now
Moines.
this is a source of pride. Harry may even lost Option rollout.
2nd and goal. 2 backs up top and a handoff. No to Perry again, and
Lost
he stopped
another
again.
yard.
Yeah. 2nd and 3. I agree with you there. Roll out.
Stotts, I think, made the stop there.
Now the Valley crowd over there calling, getting up. They want to see the shutout, but we'll take out the 2 big bodies and bring in the more receivers. They bring Keck back in there and Tyrese Moore. They'll leave Jake Morrison in on the slot on the right. Hand off. Now there's a rollout, and why he's going to waltz into the end zone. Touchdown, Waukee. From 2 yards out. With 5:42 to play, Drew Johnson gets on the board for Waukee. And here comes the extra point.
And remember, this drive was set up on a muffed punt reception. Cashing in a turnover for points.
That was at the 35, wasn't it? As the
Yep.
kick is up and good. And makes it 34-7. Let's see a replay here of the touchdown. Johnston takes it. Fakes the handoff. Spins back to his left. That sold it to everybody who was looking for that. And he just rolls to his left there and is going to waltz into the end zone as everybody watches and nobody can get to him. And Waukee gets on the board. And it's 34-7. Valley. I'm feeling we might see a onside kick here.
Why not? Let's extend this game a little more. That's what the crew is thinking. I see Eric giving me a hello from his side
he'll
of the
take
booth.
it.
Yeah, always giving me the thumbs up. I like that.
Yeah.
It's my neighbor, by the way. We live close to each
Oh,
other.
do you? Oh.
But he never gives me a ride,
No.
and he never says hello when I'm standing out in his yard. I don't
Oh, he
know what the
doesn't?
deal is, but the problem is I'm usually standing in the yard in the middle of the night. He doesn't like that.
Oh, well, yeah. When you got your binoculars out there trying to look in his window, then,
Yeah,
you know.
he gets that.
So Waukee gets on the board here. 5:42 to play. 34-7. And Mason and Fugate back deep. We'll see if it gets back there. Oh, there's going to be a little lobber that's going to come up short and taken by the up man, and he'll be dropped immediately. Austin Cook takes it. Does what you want to do, just fields it and doesn't fumble it, and it'll be.
Well, now if you're Valley,
Valleys.
you're going to want to run some clock. I still think you keep your starters in. Conditioning, reps, but you also aren't going to want to try to give away the store here in your play calls.
Well, and Waukee's defense has been, playing pretty well.
You got to get a first down.
Yeah,
or
they're
two
going to
here.
try to. They're going to try to force a turnover as Lombardi brings them out.
They've gone to Will Roderick now, and Bo Lombardi is in the offensive backfield.
Oh, yep.
Fugate
with it. And he gets a good run on first down. Good call down there, Will Roderick. The 6', 185-pound senior. Replaces Lombardi.
I saw Bo come in. I didn't see how much tight end did he play tonight, Keith.
He got in on several plays there, went out for a few passes, but he really did a great job blocking, and he had a fantastic block there that helped spring Fugate back up inside.
2nd and 2. Taking their time, run the play clock down to 4. Hand off and stopped in the backfield. Fugate loses a couple there.
Nathan McDonald.
Loss of 2. Back to the 36. Tessau in on the tackle for Waukee also. And just taking their time as the clock winds down here. 4:23 and counting. Valley with the 34-7 lead. Dowling has won 37-17. They'll come into the meeting next week against Valley 2-0. And the Tigers, unless something really terrible happens here, will be that as Roderick taken down. And they'll bring up 4th down.
Sam McCune, the sophomore center, came in on that series. Did a pretty decent job. One of the things that happened on this particular play, Roderick dropped back and the out routes went just a little deep as they were trying to get downfield, and he didn't have the time, tried to tuck it and go, and Waukee closed it quickly.
Ryan Keck will drop back deep to receive for Waukee. Back at his 35.
And Lombardi not into punt.
This one is Low bounces at the 40, and Valley picks it up and is running it, but now the whistles come in.
This is going to be a very interesting call because Valley thinks that it hit.
They thought it hit somebody.
Yeah, it hit somebody.
I didn't see. Did you see that? Or
they might have an argument, but I don't know that they're going to call it.
But see, Valley's already used their red challenge flag for the game, Keith.
Yes. And
unless it comes from the booth. Maybe they're wearing buzzers in Boone. They're watching the game in Boone.
Boone, is that where they sent it back to?
Yeah.
Now you guys don't get us in trouble with Boone now. Don't get us banned from the air because you guys are causing trouble.
I don't know what you're talking about. His name is Keith Bornis, said that. B-O-R.
Yeah, go ahead and spell that out.
Isn't that what they say in your class? That you're a B-O-R? What? No? Come on, Keith. Give me something.
Well, it's going to go.
Can't advance it. But it is Valley football, though.
32-yard line. Valley will get it into the line, busting through there. Is that
Fugate? So think about if Fugate holds on to the football back in that first half.
Yeah.
That would have been a whole different, I think that would have been a different contest.
Yeah.
We might have had a running clock here in the second half, because that would have that changed the momentum right there. Left the door open for Waukee, but that's the coulda, shoulda, woulda stuff. But
and then if they score in that first drive coming out in the second half,
that's right.
Still change things around a little bit there. As they come up to the line and then play clock. They call a timeout.
Keith, you can't be doing interviews with Noah Barr during the game.
Well, it really wasn't an interview. It was more of a, hey, Coach Bornis, can't you call into Boone and get that rule changed?
Let's take a quick break. We'll do that and come back after this.
Hi, we're the Waters Boys. I'm Todd. And I'm Thad. The best deals on Buick and GMCs are right here at Waters. Waters Autoland, 8 miles south of Des Moines, Indianola.
Catch the wave to Waters. Waters Autoland.
Out of the timeout, Valley with the ball at the 21. Pass out is dropped out there by Carter Fry. And it brings up a 2nd and 10 at the 21. And 2:39 to play. That stopped the clock, which I don't think either team wants at this point of the game. They'd just like to get it done with. Roderick hands it off, and smothered in the backfield is Fugate. Trey Fugate.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, was get the tackle. Yeah, Brandon Tessau, that's a nice play. Nathan McDonald, they've been in there a couple of times.
And that'll keep the clock rolling. 3rd and 15 at the 26.
3rd and 15 for the Tigers from Waukee, 26.
And let's see. They send Dylan Sampson, looks like wide to the left, but they're going to hand it off to Fugate. He stutter steps and goes and then gets tackled after a pickup of a couple.
Brandon Tessau again in on there.
And Trey Hardy also. And Valley, 4th and 13. They're just going to run it down, I'm assuming, here. Carter Fry wide to the left, and they bring Dylan Sampson wide to the right. I set behind. dropping back. And no room to run. They're going to blow the whistle quickly on that one. And it'll go back to Waukee at the 31-yard line on downs with 1:13 to play.
So if you got to pick a player of the game in this one.
Waukee takes over on downs. First and 10 Warriors.
I'd maybe say Mason.
From the Waukee 31.
He had that touchdown where he, kind of wound his way in there early and got the first touchdown and kind of got the lead up there. I mean, it wasn't.
Oh,
I don't know, Keith, what are you thinking?
I'm going to agree with that. I think Mason was the game changer on getting on in offense getting going.
Because Valley settled for field goals up to that point, or missed field goals. Handoff, straight up the middle.
New running back,
Yeah,
27.
Mates Rounds, number 27, running back for Waukee.
Mates Rounds and
Still Johnson.
gets it. Yeah, Drew Johnson's still in there at quarterback. Under a minute to play.
Second and 4.
Second and 4. Handoff to Rounds again. He finds a little running room, breaks through, gets across the 45 up to the 47. First down, some fresh legs in there. And the 5'10", 175-pound senior running back picks up the first down. Clock will roll, though. Here come the Warriors. Johnson fakes it, keeps him himself, gets outside, looking for room, tries to cut it back up and is corralled out there as he crosses the 50.
Carries around the right side. Noah Samples on the
And
tackle, number 23 for Valley.
That should do it.
Yeah, unless they pick it up, they're not going to get another playoff here as we're winding down to 10 seconds, and I don't think they will. It's going to wind down, and Valley will go to 2-0 on the season. Waukee will fall to 1-1 here in the early season. In the final 34-7, Valley over Waukee. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and wrap it up after this.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Back at Waukee High School, the final here tonight, 34-7. Valley over Waukee. We'll run down the scoring for you here. Valley got on the board first with the 25-yard field goal with 5:07 to play in the first quarter. 3:54 to play, a 52-yard field goal, and it was 6-0 Valley. The two teams sputtered back and forth trying to get something going. Then in the second quarter, there was a punt and a penalty that pushed the ball back, but Javon Mason took it one play, 52 yards inside, then cut it outside, and Valley was on top 13-0 with 7:05 to play in the first half. Into the third quarter, Waukee came out and took that third quarter kickoff from the 20 all the way down, set up for a field goal. It was blocked, picked up by Noah Barr. He returned it 61 yards with 7:15 to play in the third quarter, and it was 20-0 Valley. 6:17 to play. Javon Mason, was that the fumbled punt?
Which
I
one?
think,
Because
yeah, I think that was where they got it down at the 3. anyway, Javon Mason then a 2-yard run with 6:17 to play, made it 27-0. 44 seconds to go. It was a pass to Luke Matney, 22-yard pass with 44 seconds to go in the third quarter, made it 34-0. Then Waukee finally, Drew Johnson after the muff punt. They took it at the 35, got it down, and then Drew Johnson took it in from the 2 for the Waukee's only score of the night with 5:42 to play. And that's the way it ended, 34-7. Paul?
You say sputter, and that's probably the best adjective we can use at this point. And I know Keith is making his way up. I don't know if he can still hear me or not, but Keith, I think sputter probably is we talked about which was ahead, offense or defense early on in this one, but.
Yeah, I think the defenses were just both very good tonight. And it's not that either team has a poor offense. It's just that the defenses were playing dynamite football tonight. And it's certainly going to give them something to talk about offensively in the film room because there were signs of good things to come, just not enough of it.
Yeah, we talk about Mason, maybe the player of the game, and, he wasn't in there. He's still, I don't know, he's not quite the Mason of old, but he is getting better. And the offensive line had some improvements in that second and third quarter. Rocky had a little bit of chance to throw the football, and the play calling is a little creative to create some openings. I thought play calling on both sides was pretty creative in a few spots. A couple of them could have maybe had a different twist on things, but I think the players, there was a time they executed well, and then I think the frustration set in because you had both squads really. I mean, if I would have kept track of penalties, I'm pretty sure we'd be in the neighborhood of 12.
And Waukee missed opportunities there toward the end of the first half. They got it down and went for it, didn't make it. Talked about it. They drove all the way down to start the second half. Had the blocked field goal that was returned for a touchdown. So some things there to work on for them. Also, Valley, some things to work on as Dowling rolled tonight, and it'll be Valley Dowling. You guys will have that next week. I'll be here, and we'll have Waukee and Ankeny right back here. So another couple good ball games for these two teams next week.
Yeah, I think the Waukee-Ankeny game, I think you got Ankeny looking for a win, and I think they've played two tough teams. They played Dowling close in the first week. They played, I think it was a 38-14 or 38-17 loss tonight to Centennial, and Centennial won last week against Johnston. So I think Ankeny could maybe get the nudge in that one, but I'm not sure. Valley's going to have to play tough. Dowling tonight had 3 first-quarter turnovers, didn't look efficient or as good as they could. A lot of expectations for both Valley and Dowling this year statewide. They might be the best teams in 4A, and we'll find out next week.
Final thought?
Well, it was a long walk up here.
That's why I waited to give you your breath before you had the final thought.
I think that next week for both teams, it's going to be about getting your offenses started.
Yeah.
Okay, though, so the final here tonight.
I don't see it. He's right.
Yeah, he is. It is.
There's another way to put it.
I mean, the defenses, there's probably some things they'll find when they go through it, but overall, it was, the defense were slugging it out and really, kept both teams in it early. But the final here tonight, Valley 34-7, thanks to Eric Fishback running the controls, Tom Stone on the camera. That's going to wrap it up here from Waukee Stadium. Join us again next week. Valley Dowling and Ankeny at Waukee here on CISN.TV.